you know, I don't know what it is you're yammering about. What does that mean? No speakers, no. All right. All right, this is disgusting. What do you think?
I don't think it's annoying.
You don't? I'm gonna add this. Okay. All right. What does this mean? My speaker's not working right. I can't even see my sweater. And I guess call the meeting to order. We do have
Quorum.
we have quorum.
Yes.
Yes. So
Yes.
you know what, Greg? I did not
Yes.
keep a copy of the BAC. So can you call roll, please?
Yeah. He's absent. Doreen.
No. Jeff, take that down. Take it down, please. That's not the one we
Not
do. Thank you. Jeff, Greg.
I'm here if you called my name.
Yeah, Doreen.
I'm here.
John.
Yeah.
Carlos.
No.
Okay, that's the wrong spot.
Carlos.
Okay,
Michael.
bear with me on my new task of putting X's in these boxes. Carlos is absent. Tori's present.
Yes.
Gabby. Laura.
Here.
Hugh.
Here.
Paula. Raheem. Isaac. Marielle.
Present.
Marielle.
Absent.
Cordell.
Presente.
Okay. Hugh. I know he's present.
He's here.
He was on, but he's muted.
Yeah. Okay, Michael.
Absent.
He's late. I know he's coming. Right. He told me
Okay,
he's coming.
Chris.
Okay.
I'm marking him absent for now.
Chris.
Chris.
Absent.
I'm here. Nancy.
Excused absent.
Okay. I'll put the E.
Absent.
Janie.
Here.
Okay. And Lizzie.
Presente.
Okay, so we have 13 members present.
Okay.
Hugo has also joined us, but he's muted.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I saw him. I counted him present.
So we have 14 present. Okay, I'm sharing the screen with the agenda. So we're called to order. We'll approve the agenda. However, we're deleting 2 items. So that's why, Jeff, I wanted to share my screen. So
Okay.
item 6 is deleted, or deleted. And I'm scrolling through, item 14C is deleted. So with those changes, I'd like there to be a motion to approve the agenda from anyone.
Motion to approve.
Hugh moved. Is there a second?
Paula.
Paula. Okay. And you know, this, I haven't done my little lecture. I'm starting to share. To remind everyone, if you're on the Zoom on computer, if you scroll to your cursor to the bottom of the black screen and click on the word participants, and pull that up, you'll not only see who's at the meeting, but you will be able to have a blue hand to raise. And so for this one only, we don't need a BAC. For who approves the minutes, please either raise your blue hand or a yellow hand if you can't raise a blue hand, or raise your hand if you're like me and you can't raise anything because you're the host. So all in favor of approving the agenda as changed. Okay. Is there any opposition?
I approve. I'm just on the phone. I can't see anything.
Okay, so we've deleted 2 items from the agenda. The 6, which was declare a governing board seat vacant, that's deleted. And number 14C, which is a proposal for a new standing committee, and that is deleted. So, okay. I think this agenda is approved. I can't tell.
Yes, it's
Okay.
approved.
All right. So meeting protocols reminder, item 2 is, you're all able to mute or unmute yourselves. Please do be muted while other people are talking. Please do not talk over anyone else. Please wait to be called. Greg, myself, Gabby, and Jeff Camp all are co-hosts. And so as I'm running the meeting, I may not be able to see people who've raised their hands, so other people may tell me. We're watching the waiting room, and we're just trying to be polite and follow the code of conduct and be polite and respectful for everybody tonight. Also, as best we can, don't speak for more than 2 minutes when called on. We can call on you a second time. And if there's an item that a lot of people have already said something and you simply agree, you can just say, I agree. You don't need to repeat for 2 minutes that which was said before, if there is anything that involving that. So that's meeting protocols. What else? Greg, am I forgetting anything on protocols?
No, we're good.
Elizabeth has a question. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
But you have to unmute.
I just asked you to unmute. There you go.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Go ahead.
All right. Elizabeth, I think your speaker's not working.
Is it completely garbled?
Oh, there you go.
Is it my speaker that's not working?
We can hear you now.
You're fine. You're fine. I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
I had just heard a technique that if our Wi-Fi becomes unstable, the first thing to do is to stop the video, because then that frees up the bandwidth.
You mean in your own home?
That's
Your own
correct.
home?
I
Okay.
couldn't hear you, Laura, for that last bit, and I wondered if it was me or you.
Well, I think you're saying that if individually, if you're having any problems, whoever you are, with your audio, try turning off your video at your own home and to get better Wi-Fi bandwidth. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. That is
Hi, Chris.
said.
Hi.
And May, go ahead, May.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask. I couldn't see the agenda really well. I'm representing Assemblymember Sydney Camlogger at this meeting. Do you guys have a portion for government representatives to?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, yes. So what we have is next is public comments, then a board member training report, and then after that, Council District 10 and reports from other government officials, city departments, or agencies.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So we're going now to public comment and announcements. This would be for anything not on tonight's agenda. Does anyone have any public comment or announcement? Please raise your hand if you do. Jeff. And you have to unmute yourself.
Hey, gang. My public comment is that the West Adams Avenues Association is meeting next Tuesday. It is normally our holiday celebration, and in keeping with that theme, we're going to be doing obviously everything virtual, but the idea this year is to share special moments, whether they are historical in nature or a recipe. and why that recipe is special to you. If you submit before the meeting, you will be given a Starbucks card, and we will be sharing that online on Zoom. We will have actual live entertainment in between our meeting. So we get to have the holiday music and celebrate our local artists. And then at the end, we will be taking all submissions and putting them into a book, a quote, virtual book that we're allowed to share with all of our neighborhoods, all of our partners. And in January, people will be able to vote for the best shared experience, whether it's a recipe or a story or what makes their holiday special, for a Amazon gift card. And then after the fact, everybody will be able to access and have this book of shared memories from all of our various neighborhoods to create a really unique cookbook, share book, feeling book to share with not just the avenues, but all of UNNC's communities. So email West Adams Donna J @gmail.com or my email address mjeffcamp@gmail.com. And like I said, any submission that we get before next week's meeting will get a Starbucks card, and we'll all be presenting this virtually, having a good time, and enjoying some music from local artists.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Are there any other public comments or announcements? I'm not seeing any raised hands. Anybody?
No, none.
Okay. Right. Okay. Next item 4, board member training report update. That would be Greg.
Okay, so let's share this version. Can everyone see this?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Not yet.
No?
Just still black.
Your screen sharing is paused.
Huh.
So let's unpause it.
All right.
Maybe I have too many screens open. Okay, so let me close this. Stop share. Let's try it this way.
It's actually a Zoom issue. They've been,
Yeah.
The
Okay.
software was updated, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa, so much for
You can
that.
try
I think.
again. You can try
Okay.
again.
Okay.
It should
Well,
work.
I'm gonna try it on this way. How's that?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, sweetness.
Mhm.
Okay, so the purpose of this document is so that we can know how we're doing on our training. We have 3 areas of training that we need to take. This has been updated even today. So Carlos has conducted his most of his training. These 2 individuals are no longer. These positions are vacant, and I call him my brother Mayor. We received an email from him on his status. George his training is up to date, but we have updated status for him also.
Oh, Greg, just, I don't know that I sent everyone an email. It was just the executive committee members.
Okay.
So,
So let me.
some might not know.
Okay, so for right now, let me just, since I'm just doing training, I'll just comment on that. So his training status, he has training status that he needs to complete. And if we don't keep the code of conduct up to date, then we can go into suspension status for 30 days. Then coming down here, if we have not completed all of the training, then we cannot vote on budget items. So we have a few people, and those individuals know who they are. They know they cannot vote on budget items. As people need help with the
Wait,
training.
Stop. I took mine. It's not, why isn't it showing up?
If it's not showing up yet, John, then if you have the certificate, send it to me, because it wasn't on it when I looked earlier this afternoon, later this afternoon. Yeah. So it does take some time for it to update, but if you have the certificates, send me an email so that I can know that it's we can update. So John is eligible for voting on budget items.
Yeah, same
That's
here. I did my
No, you're good to go. You're good.
Okay.
You're in a special status because
I'm special.
you are my friend. You're in a special status because you did the training another way. So you're good to go. Okay.
Got it.
So
Thank you.
so thank you. This is good for us to look at it and then comment on it. And then John, I will also follow up with the training people to make sure that it's up to date. Any questions?
I'll find my certificate.
Okay, thank you much. Any other questions on this? Okay. All right, that's
Okay.
it.
So the next item on our agenda is Council District 10 report and reports from other government officials, city departments, and or agencies, as the case may be. So we'll start with a long goodbye, I suppose, from Council District 10.
No, I'll keep this short.
No, what I mean is it's been two months of a long goodbye.
It has been. First and foremost, I would like to offer my sincere apologies to Unnc. We worked and we tried to coordinate together, but just like you guys, this is my first transition too, so I didn't know what to expect. Thanks to Greg and thanks to Laura, things came together at the very last minute. They were able to secure the majority of your materials. The rest have been marked. But, transition is not easy, and it would have been better if we had known in advance what was going to happen. But I offer my apologies for not knowing that because I was learning as I went along myself.
Jeff, is the only thing left right now the big cabinet? Not that that's a small.
Pretty much the big cabinet and what's left. So Greg, I'm hoping that you're able to swing by and
Tomorrow.
get that, but it has been marked.
I saw that. Thank you.
Those in the know that it belongs to Unnc. I honestly still don't know what's going to happen with the items that are at the firehouse, which is the Gracie, I forget the other guy's name. They were a husband-wife team. Over on Arlington and Washington, the old historical firehouse. But those items are not on UNNC's inventory, which is required tracking from the city. So you won't have to worry about that, but it's mostly the furniture that was bought and provided for the senior center. And there is a closet storage space where there might be some, one or two, maybe one box of bags, and then just a good chunk of UNNC's history. So I encourage UNNC to make sure that they are in communication with the incoming council member, Mark Ridley Thomas, so that they don't get lost in city inventory or returned to salvage or what have you. Because
Can you post a contact, either phone numbers or email, how one gets in contact with the new incoming council district and its field office?
I don't have that information as yet, Chris. We do have some private numbers that we've been sharing with the leadership, and others have been reaching out to the incoming council member. So you're gonna have to trust in that. If I hear anything different, I will be absolutely more than happy to share that with you. My last official day, and I learned this on Monday, is Thursday at 10 a.m. So
you're saying
Thursday,
December 10.
next Thursday,
Got it.
1 week from today, I will no longer have my city phone and I will no longer have access to my city email. So anything before then needs to be brought to my attention. Obviously, no new projects. I myself am trying my hardest to clean up any open cases that I've got within my grid and the neighborhoods that I've been dealing with. After that, I'm going to be taking a break away from Unnc and city stuff. That doesn't mean I'm not going to land on my feet and be back for you guys, but a lot of you have my personal cell phone number and my personal email address. I have absolutely no problem with you guys reaching out to me with issues or concerns or highs or thanks or, hey, look, Jeff, this is what I did. If I gave you my private email address and if I gave you my private cell phone, I did it for a reason.
Jeff, you do know you just gave everybody your private email.
Well, private email is one thing. I can always hit delete.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
For those of you with my private cell phone, you have it for a reason, and I encourage you to use it. Don't be afraid to. Don't be surprised if I don't answer immediately, because I guess technically it's no longer my job, but it is my heart. And if I can help you, I will. So please reach out. Let's all stay in touch. And, you know, maybe 6 months from now, I will pop up here again as a constituent and a stakeholder ready to raise some hell. So thank you all very much. Thank you for having faith in me. Thank you for allowing me to serve you in so many ways. I truly appreciate it. And I hope I can be of service in the future. Jeff Camp, ex-UNC president and CD10 representative for many of our neighborhoods. Peace out.
Right. So, did he just leave?
Can we give Jeff a hand?
Well, we could, but I think he literally.
Everybody come off mute and
I think
give
he
a
just
hand.
left. Oh no, he's still there. Okay.
Yay! Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff. May, you wanted to introduce yourself and speak to us?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is May Gates. I am field representative for Assemblymember Sydney Kamlager, who represents the 54th Assembly District. I just wanted to come on here really quick and give a very quick update for you all. As you may know, the legislature has been on a recess for like about the past 8 to 10 weeks. They did have a few interruptions this legislative session due to COVID-19. And so a lot of things got either tabled, a lot of things did not get passed. The bill packages did have to shrink significantly because all bills had to be related to COVID-19 and or seen as essential bills for the operation of the state. This coming Monday will be the beginning of a new legislative session on Monday, December 7th. Again, this session holds a lot of uncertainties due to COVID-19. Really all we know that's for certain is that the state has lost a significant amount of tax revenue due to a decrease in sales tax and other taxes due to the pandemic. So hopefully we don't have as many disruptions in this upcoming legislative session, being that we have now found ways to still do things in person and have COVID-19 precautions that we were not aware of the beginning of this pandemic. So hopefully we don't have as many interruptions. But yeah, the Assembly member is very excited. She's got a lot of really good bill ideas on the table for this upcoming session. And if you guys have any questions about the legislation or any ways that we can help with constituent casework or other ways that we can help enrich your community, feel free to contact me and let me know.
Okay. May, I do have a question. This is sort of one day we'll have a post-pandemic situation, but I think a lot of us are realizing that these Zoom meetings are a really good way to bring in stakeholders, and I think that's happening up and down the state. They may not all be called stakeholders, but the Brown Act in its actual description would not allow these kind of Zoom meetings for public, for public meetings. And I'm wondering, given the success throughout California of not just Zoom, but I'm going to use Zoom as a generic, is anybody considering actually revising the Brown Act to permit for certain kinds of public meetings meeting this way?
So we haven't seen any legislation language on it yet, but what I will say is that there have been plenty of conversation, potentially having some form of revisions to the Brown Act. We've learned that in some ways having things virtual actually increases accessibility. In other ways it can decrease, as we know that some people don't have equal access to technology. But again, it means that, if you're running late from a meeting or there's some form of interruption in your life, you can still take part in a public meeting virtually, which is huge for a lot of people. And so, yes, that is on the horizon. People are talking about making those revisions because a lot of people have found that this may be a little bit more efficient in some ways. And so definitely keep an eye out for that. I haven't seen any language yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if some comes about, because I do think that a lot of people have taken a liking and would at the very least like the option to have a virtual option post-pandemic.
Okay, does anybody else have questions, comments?
Laura, but thank you for asking that question. It's really important. I think it has improved some engagement in our jurisdiction, at least.
Right. Well, yeah, because what I'm hearing and experiencing is people who have been in the past unable to attend our meetings have logged into Zoom, but it is also a problem for people who don't, on the other side of the digital divide. So, I think, opinions can go either way, but this seems to be not perfect, but our committee meetings in particular, which are also public meetings, I think this is a really good way to meet. I'm not necessarily thinking it's perfect for the legislature to meet this way, or even governing board meetings for neighborhood councils. I don't know, but this neighborhood council conducts between 6 and 10 or 12 public meetings a month at this point with the committee. So the only reason I think we're able to do that is because we now have the Zoom. So
I sure like not having to come out and drive at night.
I was going to say that they haven't considered, because we're also used to the normal way. People don't have access to transportation. People have childcare. People can't leave home. So in a sense, this is equitable as well.
Right. Well, I'm just glad to hear they're thinking about it. And the reason, it's interesting because, I don't know, maybe 6-7 years ago, the LA City's Cultural Heritage Commission was faced with a complaint because as the commission was touring a potential historic residence, the owner of the residence barred a neighbor actually from walking in his house, which, you know, apparently they had a long time neighbor to neighbor dispute and barred that person, but the person made a Brown Act complaint, and it's upended the way the Cultural Heritage Commission can do its work, because now they can't actually, as a commission, tour the properties. They have to do it in subcommittees. We had discussed back when this was all happening, could we do a sort of a hybrid with a actual tour and video all at the same time, but the way the Brown Act is written, you couldn't do that either. So maybe that's, you know, maybe at least to rewrite it so there could be hybrid meetings. So, you know, obviously a Cultural Heritage Commission is quite different than a neighborhood council, and each of those are different than a legislature. But anyway, okay. Does anybody have anything else to discuss with May? Okay. The next, we don't have, I'm not paying 100% attention, but did anybody else, like from Dunn or any other government department or agency, come in since we've been doing this? Okay, so moving on, the next item on our agenda is interview and appoint candidates for open UNNC governing board seats. And we have 3 total candidates here with us tonight. The 4th has withdrawn. So basically we have an area rep position in Region 6, which is Jefferson Park Bungalows, 1 seat, Group B, through 2023. The only applicant is Lizzie, who is currently in the Group A seat through 2021. So she's a current board member, and she is asking to be appointed to switch seats to Group B with an expiration of 2023. And so if it pleases the board, we should just talk to Lizzie about that first and then interview the 2 candidates for the at-large position. Does that make sense for everybody? Yes? Okay.
I have a question.
Who's asking a question?
You.
Yes.
So I'm not saying yay or nay on this. I'm just asking the question. Changing board members from one board seat to another board seat ends up extending their
right. There's a reason.
And that does subvert the democratic process of people voting for their representatives.
If we had not appointed Lizzie but we just appointed Lizzie to the seat she's in. She did not run for, she never had run for it. The reason, one of the reasons from an administrative point of view this makes sense is because Lizzie has also volunteered to chair the elections committee. She is not allowed to chair the elections committee if she is running for election. And nobody else wanted to chair that committee. So this functionally would serve an administrative purpose. But also we have no other applicants. So we're not dealing with a competitive situation. But I think we should at least let Lizzie explain herself instead of me explaining it for her. If that's okay with you, Hugh.
All right, you explained it perfectly. So I would be repeating myself. I mean, what you
but just in case there's anybody here who doesn't know who you are or what you've done, and your candidate.
I could barely hear her.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm using my phone. So if there's anybody who doesn't know me, my name is Lizzie Moromisato. I've been part of the governing board since 2015. I am currently, I started as an at-large representative, and I am now also the outreach chair. And the reason I am requesting to change seats is, as Laura indicated, so that we could have a chair for the elections committee and not have it have that duty upon Laura, who is already the president of the Unnc and chair of many other committees. And me being chair of the outreach committee would be helping, with elections. So it wouldn't be extended too much of my tasks. So that is basically what I would like to say at this point. Thank you.
Greg, is your hand up?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. Hugh, I want to comment on your statement about the democratic process. For the position that Lizzie is running for, we did advertise that position, that it was open. We put the word out last month for that. So individuals that wanted to run for that position had the opportunity to do so. So my thoughts are, as long as we advertise the position, put it out there for the public to see, and anyone that wants to apply can. But in this case, no one did, but we had someone inside the House that in her efforts to serve in a greater capacity wants to switch over. I think that as a group, considering Lizzie, we follow the protocol of honoring the democratic process. So I think that addresses, well, that's one bit of information to address the concern about the democratic process.
Okay, so my next question for the board before we go any further, should we at this point be putting Lizzie into a waiting room, or are we okay with how
Laura, from past experience, I would advise against that. She has every right to be in the room while she is being discussed.
Right. Well, we're definitely going to use the waiting room function on the next item, though, Jeff. So that's why I'm asking, should we have parity here and have Lizzie go into a waiting room?
I would say no, because we've had a past experience where we had to do this all over again because we excluded those who were up for a seat, not present in the room, even though they were being discussed and talked about.
I don't understand, Jeff. I don't understand the concern.
So it's a public meeting, and so therefore everyone is technically allowed to stay in the room. We cannot ask people from the public who are applying for a position to leave the room.
Exactly. Even though they're being talked about in the third person, they have every right to be in the room. The moment we put them in the waiting room, you get to do it all over again.
Okay, Tori, is your hands
I
up?
mean, it is what it is. I think it's fine. It's not like we're going to say really bad things about people.
No,
that shouldn't really be a problem, and
Okay, well, in that case, is there any other commenting about the position and Lizzie's request to fill it? And I will add this, Lizzie, before we would vote. I mean, this is, I don't know quite how we do this. Before we would vote, you'd have to resign the position. Right. So I do want to hear if there's a whole lot of negative things, because if she's resigns and then we're not voting for her, we have a quorum issue, folks. We just have a quorum issue.
Yeah, that would suck.
So any other reservations, if anyone who agrees with Hugh, I would like to actually hear that. Let me just say it that way. If anyone else agrees with Hugh, this is not a motion, this is not a vote, just does anyone else agree that this might not be the proper way to do it?
Laura, this is Tori. I just want you to restate clearly what seat Lizzie's leaving from and which one she wants to go to.
She's currently, we appointed her very recently to, hang on, I have to actually bring up.
I got it.
Give me a minute. No, not the BAC. I'm bringing up the actual roster. Lizzie is currently sitting in the Region 6 resident representative, seat 1, Group A, 2021 seat. She wishes to switch to the one we have available and which we advertised and for which no one else applied, which is Region 6, resident representative, seat 2, Group B, 2023.
I would like to point out to the group that based on that, it means that you have a very valuable board member who is wanting to be a part of the board for a longer period of time, and also allows her to be on the outreach committee as well as the election committee, which you guys are going to need. As a future stakeholder and constituent, I'm all for it.
I have my hand raised. Can I ask a question?
Yes, I'm sorry. Now I see your hand raised, and I also see Raheem. I had not seen the hands before.
I think we all know Lizzie, and I don't think there's any reason that she can't be in the room. She would have to resign, and we would vote. I think that we have quorum even if she goes. So I really think we should just make the vote now, so we don't drag this meeting on till midnight. Just my 2 cents worth, folks.
Okay, and then Raheem's hand is up as well.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say quickly, I feel like we have this conversation like every time this happens. I feel like this might warrant like getting put into our bylaws or standing rules or whatever. Like, let's figure out what way we want to do this consistently so that we don't have to have this conversation every single time. That's it.
Okay. All right, so is there any other comment? Dorit, you have your hand up still or again? Okay. If there are no further comments, I think, Lizzie, you have to take the risk and say the words, I resign that seat number. Yes. Whatever it was I just said. Hang on. You would resign Region 6, seat 1, Group A.
All right. So I will resign from Region 6, seat A.
Okay. Okay, and then is there a motion to appoint?
Guys, we got her.
Okay, and is there now a motion to, and I'll tap this in, is there a motion to appoint Lizzie to Region 6, Group B, C2? Was that?
I'll make a motion. Oh, okay. I'll second.
Greg?
Yes.
Yes. Chris can make a motion. I wasn't paying attention on the training.
She can make a motion. Yes.
Perfect. Okay.
She can make a motion.
And so hang on, I'm just posting the motion.
Corey made the motion. I seconded it.
Okay.
Okay, so I can.
Correct, Tori?
Yes. I was trying.
Okay, hang on, because I just want to make sure I typed it correctly. Okie dokie. Okay, that's the motion. It's in the chat. Everyone can see it. I know Lizzie has a last name, as does Tori, as does Chris, but anyway. And this is a role you'll need to call, Greg, for the BAC?
Yes. Are we ready?
I guess we should tell everybody Greg's doing the BACs tonight.
And everybody should unmute.
Yes, everybody should unmute. So when he calls you, unmute right away. So when he calls you, we can just go through.
Okay, so we're ready. I don't need to read the motion again. I guess not. Okay, Dorit?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Tori? Tori?
Tori, you're muted.
Raise your hand,
yes.
Tori.
Yes.
Gabby?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Hugo Rodriguez.
He's muted, I think.
Yes.
Okay. Paula.
Yes.
Raheem.
Yep.
Isaac.
Yes.
Mario.
Yes.
Cordell.
Absolutely.
Hugh.
Yes.
Michael's absent. Michael, are you here? Okay, Chris.
Yes.
Greg, yes. Nancy's absent. Janie,
Yes.
okay. Did I skip anyone?
Carlos.
Carlos. My brother Carlos. All right. My brother
Yes,
Carlos.
of course.
I did not see you. I did not. So let me change the role then. Okay.
Not a problem.
Okay, thank you, my brother. Does this thing count automatically? I'm gonna change it so it counts automatically. Okay, so it passed.
Yeah, you need to say for the record how many.
For the record, have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hold on, let me shrink my screen so I can see it all on one page.
It passed unanimously is what we
I
need to
know,
know.
I know, but
Yeah.
No, but we have so again on the BAC you have
1,
to
2,
record
3,
the
4,
absence
5,
too.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16. Okay. Passed by 16. You got it?
Thank you.
I'll do the rest of it later. So.
Welcome back, Lindsay.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
I have
Okay.
7.
Okay,
Okay,
so
that's done.
guys, that does mean we still need to find a Jefferson Park, a second Jefferson Park rep. So if you know anybody who lives in the bungalows area, so it's the area between Western and Arlington, Adams, south to Jefferson.
Oh, I think that's me.
No, but you've got a spot. No, we need one more. We're trying not to shuffle all of the currently present people.
Just kidding.
Okay. Just saying. Okay, so for the at-large position, it's at-large Group A through 2021 is the position that we advertised and marketed. We had 3 applicants, one of whom has withdrawn actually afterwards. Executive committee interviewed all 3 and voted to forward all 3, which is now 2, to the governing board for re-interviewing and for a vote. So that would be Paul King and, oh, Krishna, I'm losing my mind. I've lost your last name, although McCain, Krishna McCain. So what I asked, I did a couple of things. I posted their applications into our advance agenda packet. I also emailed the applications to each of you in advance. And I asked Paul and Krishna to kind of come up with each of them a 3-minute presentation about themselves to start the ball rolling. And so the question is, do you want me to post their applications or start with the 3 minutes? Presentations.
Madam Chair, I recommend starting with the 3 minutes.
Okay. So in alphabetical order, that'd be Paul King first.
And I will be timing. I will give you a 30-second warning when your 3 minutes will be up.
You guys are tough. Oh my gosh. So hello, everyone. I think I recognize a lot of you. I'm a longtime resident of Kenny Heights. I've been here for almost 20 years. I've been involved in my community generally on an as-needed basis, and I've done a pretty decent job of keeping my neighbors, immediate neighbors in Kenny Heights, kind of up to date on important issues of the day, whether it's traffic issues, safety issues, construction issues, that kind of thing. and also whether it's on our Kenny Heights Facebook page, where I'm disseminating information about what's going on, or just my own little distribution / newsletter. And I've been involved with the neighborhood in getting petitions signed, going door to door, getting CD10 involved and attending our, well, for us, block, we're not as well organized as say the Avenues or Western Heights. We're kind of balkanized here. We do our own block club meetings. And so, you know, I've just basically been involved in the community, and up until now, I've been kind of happy with the level of involvement. And recently, when I was notified that there's actually this open position, and I realized that Kenny Heights doesn't have any representation. If I was looking just based on what I see here too, I don't see anyone from Kenny Heights other than myself. I became concerned, and I wanted to make sure that we had representation in Kenny Heights. So that's sort of my motivating reason really to be here. And then also just, I have time. My work life, while it's busy, I can schedule things. And I just want to be more now than just a stakeholder or a constituent citizen who attends occasional UNNC meetings. And that's sort of just a general introduction for myself. I'm ready for questions.
Okay, so folks, do you want us to start questioning Paul, or should we give Krishna his 3 minutes? How do you want to
Let
do
Krishna have his 3 minutes, I say.
Okay, Krishna. And Paul took less than 3 minutes, but I had promised 3 minutes, so you can have 3 minutes.
I don't think I'll need that much time either. I'm a resident, been living here my entire life for 54 years. I try to participate the best way I know how. I've tried to help Grace you run for CD10. I'm very observant, and most of you know I'm against blight in the community, so I try to do a lot to clean up some problem spots. But one of my main concerns is, ever since these meetings have started, which was about my junior year in high school, I've always felt like I'm on the outside looking in, even though I'm born and raised in this community. And things have gotten a little better, but I still feel a disconnect and a lot of divisiveness within our community. And I would like to see things get better. I agree with Paul to the extent that every area needs to have representation and not just the same old faces. And I'm gonna leave it there, and I'll leave it for any questions.
Okay, so we're gonna, I guess what we're gonna do is start a questioning session. So again, I'm sort of, do we want to just round robin it? You ask, anyone who wants to ask a question can choose who to ask a question of. Is that sound okay? Greg? Oh, that's a yes? Okay.
Yes, and then I have a question.
All right, so just so everyone knows, I, Gabby, and Greg, and Jeff Camp cannot raise our hands because we're host and co-host. Everybody else has the ability to raise their blue hand, so that's what you'll need to do. Greg first, Tori second.
Okay. To each of the candidates, could you share which committees or which areas you would like to work on if you join the team?
But they should if they read the website.
So we'll start, Krishna, why don't you take that first and then Paul?
Well, the committees, I don't remember all the committees, but I know.
But just a general area that you would like to work, because we
homelessness, I can't even remember all of the committees.
Okay, so let me ask a question like this. So let me modify it. The service that you will bring to us will look like what? You will, as a member, you will do what with us, helping us move forward, serving the community?
Well, as a member, my hope would be to connect more people who do not participate in the community. A lot of ones who feel left out, be it renters or some of the older people who don't really have great trust in the different groups around. That's why for all the homes and stakeholders we have, as you can see, the participation, in my opinion, is pretty low to where you even have to worry about making quorum. So that's my thing I like to bring, is to try to bridge the gap.
Thank you. And Paul, same question.
Well, I think basically the issues that I've been involved with in the neighborhood is revolving around safety, traffic, and then to some degree homelessness. So anything just immediately, that seems like that's what I'd be interested in. But I know with the meeting on the 17th, there was some mention of that there's a committee or subcommittee for like economic development. I forget the exact name. I thought, well, that actually could potentially be a good overlap with my skill set, considering I've got a finance background. Maybe there's something I could bring to the table there. But basically, I would speak with the powers that be just to figure out what openings there are, where there's a need. And I think I'm pretty much a generalist. I could be slotted into where there's the greatest need. Like I'm not totally fixated on like it's got to be traffic or it's got to be safety.
Okay. So the hands in order of raising were Tori, then Jeff Camp, then Mario, that I see. I don't know if there's other.
Okay, I was just gonna ask both of the candidates, what are some of the things you do in the community now?
Okay, so this one we'll do Paul first, then Krishna.
So basically what I'm doing now is just sharing information. I mean, again, like I said, it's sort of a as needed basis. So, you know, a couple of years ago, I was out with petitions getting neighbors to sign to get like the overnight parking permit restrictions for Kenny Heights. Before that, it was, you know, knocking on doors to get people to support a no left turn sign at Arlington and 24th and 25th. I'm nothing like Krishna. Krishna's like a dynamo, you know, out there cleaning, but I do some spot cleaning, but mostly just like on 25th Street, whereas Krishna, you know, is like everywhere. So yeah, but that's all I'm doing right now is I'm just a conveyor of information and trying to keep people informed.
Okay. Can I just jump in? Let me just jump in because Paul, you're always a little modest. You've been running that list. Hang on.
She's not supposed to do that.
No, you can't do that. You can't.
Well, actually, folks.
You can't.
Paul, you know what I was about to say. Just
I know. I said my piece.
Protocol. Please don't do that.
Can I finish what I was saying? I was gonna say thank you, Paul, and don't never say just, because every little bit helps. Okay.
That's the same thing, Tori. That's the same thing, but it's not.
Okay.
Okay.
Krishna is answering the same question, and I obviously know what question I'm going to ask when I call on me. Go ahead, Krishna.
Yeah. Well, most people know me from cleaning up in the neighborhood, and that's something I've been doing for over 20 years, but it's just more evident now due to social media and because I post everything on social media. But for me, you know, I'm out involved in the streets. I talk to the gang members. I try to get them to, if not stop, at least reduce the graffiti and tagging in the area. And when I'm out cleaning and around the homeless people, unlike other cleaning groups, I don't get police protection or, you know, Dunkin' Donuts or somebody sponsor me. Everything I do is pretty much on my own. I've made my own connections with all of the police agencies in the area, from Olympic Division, LAPD, Wilshire, LAPD, Southwest LAPD, CHP along the freeways, and everybody. Most people know I'm very close to Fire Station 26, which gives me a great bit of confidence and support. So My involvement, I think, is really grassroots, but I've been around here so long, I've paid attention to all these different committees, whether I participate or not. I'm familiar with a lot of faces. I know pretty much everyone. And again, I just try to pull everything together. I kind of don't like, it always feels like me against them. And I would like our community to be more about us instead of they and me, if that makes any sense. But I guess
Okay.
that's my answer.
All right. Jeff, you were next.
Thank you, Laura. To both Paul and Krishna, I know first and foremost that you have been a part of this community for many, many years. You both have worked with me on issues and projects. What is the single most important item that you will accomplish by working with UNNC in this position?
Okay. And we're flipping, so it's Krishna first, Paul second.
Can you ask that question one more time, Jeff? To make sure I understand you correctly.
Sure, absolutely. I've worked with both you and Paul in the community for many, many years. I see both of your strengths. I've seen what you've given to our communities. What is the one thing that you hope to accomplish by being a part of UNNC in this position?
What I would hope to accomplish is to have the community be more whole and more inclusive. And that's the main reason why I've submitted my name to be on this committee, is because I feel that the entire community is not represented.
Okay. Paul?
I think for me, what I would like to see at the end of my time on UNNC is that I've done an excellent job of bringing in not just people in Kenny Heights, but people within the UNNC region, borders, that they're aware of the issues that are going on. Of course, it's easy to do that in my immediate area, but I do have contacts in the avenues down in Jefferson Park and Western Heights. I'd like to expand that if possible, but to make sure that people's voices are captured, they're heard, and they're included in whatever the decision-making process is for that particular issue. I just, I don't like it myself. I don't like it when I hear people say, well, I never knew that was happening, or, I wasn't there to speak and give my voice after the fact. Now, often it's because they were notified and they didn't know, but I just want to make sure I'm going to be involved with communicating to the stakeholders here, our constituents, what's going on as much as possible, so that at the end of it, people can say, he kept us informed, we really know what was going on, and it's my fault I didn't show up at the meeting and express my opinion, or I capture their opinion and voice that at the table when we're having discussions and votes.
Okay, so Marielle, then Janie.
I think this is more just to satisfy my own curiosity, so I hope my fellow board members indulge me. But I do hear talk about unheard voices in our community and underrepresentation, and so I'd like to hear each candidate talk about what voices do they feel like are not being heard, and how specifically will they give them voice, or how will they reach out to them, or ensure that they're given opportunity to participate and given as much knowledge as possible.
Okay, so we're flipping again. That's Paul first, Krishna second.
So what I'm going to have to do is to expand and extend what I'm currently doing. I mean, let me give I have to give an example of what, you know, voices not being heard can mean. So, for example, years ago, we had a petition, we petitioned the City Department of Transportation to have no left turn signs. I knocked on everyone's door on 25th Street from Arlington all the way to Gramercy to get signatures. I pretty much spoke to everyone, but then after the fact, you know, years later, some new people moved in and they weren't aware. They thought the process wasn't fair. So basically, that's one example of, there's different ways of where people don't feel like they have a voice. That's one way. Another way is just they are not aware of meetings. They're not brought into the process enough. So I think what I'd like to do, and I have to kind of see what resources are out there on UNNC, but I'd like to be able to see how I can get out into the community more and have more community contacts in order to share the information or collect opinions and thoughts and ideas from people. I know everyone tries to do that already, but that's, you know, something that I would just personally be bringing to the table and have it as a focus for myself.
Krishna?
Yes, for me, when I speak of people who are underrepresented, it kind of reminds me of like when Christopher Columbus discovered America, which people were already here. And when I grew up, there were no formal meetings, there were no quorums or, you know, rules. You speak for 2 minutes and things of that nature. And today I see renters are treated, in my opinion, a lot different than the homeowners and stakeholders. And in my particular area of Western Heights, I've seen people be named president of a block club that only been here a year or 6 months, and their opinions and ideas are outranked for people who've been here much longer. And I remember the original bylaws would state, oh, you know, seniority means nothing, we're all equal. But then I fast forward 25, 30 years later, some of the newer people then will speak up and say, hey, I've been here 30 years, I've been here 25 years, and this is the way we're going to do things. You know, I only have a high school education, so I can't compete with Paul in that regard. But being here so long, I have a different kind of education of knowing the people, be it from the people of the streets. I've talked to everybody. So, you know, I even look at some of the homeless that have been here a long time. I consider them neighbors as opposed to just, you know, a piece of trash or someone that's inhuman. So those are the voices I'm speaking of. And then you have elderly like my mom and other people who are too old to really take part in what's going on, what we're trying to do. So for me, I try to look out for them as well.
Janie?
Yes, I probably missed a little bit because I stepped out for a minute. So I hope I'm not repeating anything. I was wondering, so I think you both spoke about what committees might interest you. Krishna, you were talking about homelessness. Did you say specifically what you would like to do, what ideas you might have to bring to the homelessness committee? And Paul, could you also speak a little bit about some specific ideas that you have to bring to committees?
Okay, so that, again, we keep flipping, so that'd be Krishna first, then Paul.
Well, as far as the homeless, I don't have any ideas how to get people off the streets. But when I talk to the homeless, my main thing is I hate to see our neighborhood trashed. And there's been times when I would clean, I'm even able to convince the homeless to help me clean. But what I find out is they don't mind helping, but they don't have any brooms, any shovels or rakes. They don't have plastic bags. But when I would supply them with certain things and try to teach them to keep their own areas clean, I would find that it would work. And I would even ask certain businesses, like if you have a liquor store and they hang out in front of your establishment, you know, make them available a broom or the use of your trash can. But, you know, one of my backgrounds, I worked a lot in the oil industry. So I like to take place in environmental concerns. Was certified in a few different tasks through South Coast Air Quality Management District when it comes to the drilling and, you know, dealing with oils and natural gases. But I'm kind of winging it to learn more as I participate in these meetings, because off and on I've participated for a little while and then I would give up, basically because I would feel like I'm on the outside looking in.
Paul?
So I think it's going to sort of depend on the committee. So like, for example, like if I end up working on the homelessness or the committee related to homelessness, I mean, maybe I'd have to assess what's being done already. I mean, for example, I could say, well, we have the People Concern. It's a nonprofit up here at Arlington, just north of the 10. You know, they try to find long-term permanent housing for the homeless. Is UNNC doing anything with that group? Is there something we can do to help them? So like that could be an idea, but I don't know whether it's already being utilized. So I first have to kind of assess what was already being done. Maybe with, you know, other things might be like with traffic. A lot of the initiatives or campaigns we work on require a lot of sustained energy on just hitting that same thing over and over again with all the various government entities that are needed to be like constantly reminded and nudged to get something accomplished. If that's all it is, that's energy I could bring to the problem. So I can't really tell you that I have concrete ideas at this point. I can just say that I think once I get in there, I could be able to contribute in a productive way. And I would be able to come up with some creative ideas that we could maybe try something different or try the same thing, but slightly using a different technique. So that's kind of where I am on that question.
Okay. Does anybody else have questions or comments? So, well, I'm just going to jump in. What I was just trying to say when you guys said I couldn't say anything, but it's my turn. I'm raising my hand and calling on myself. Both Paul and Krishna do, in different ways, reach out to the community. So Krishna's constantly, what can I say? Showing us how bad we're all, in a way, letting our neighborhood get by, you know, he's the one cleaning up. And I would say probably most of us are not calling city officials every day and saying, what's this, what's this? But Paul has for many years, not just the last couple and due to traffic, also maintained what I would just call a listserv, an email group. So, you know, for many, many years, I've been getting emails from Paul and round robin discussion among not just neighbors in Kinney Heights and property owners, but people who are interested in Kinney Heights. So I think they've both done a pretty good job and better than many of us at reaching out in the community, even if they're narrow focus. So I don't think either one of them, for example, is reaching the far corner of Arlington Heights, but nor would we have expected that. So I just had wanted to remind Paul to say that you have been doing this listserv for, I don't know, 10, 15 years, a long time. Okay, Chris.
To the point about trying to make sure we have as many people at the table, one of the things that, and I think the board's known, there's been a sustained effort for years to try to get an active participant from Kenny Heights, because Area 4 is the combined Western Heights and Kenny Heights. And I think it's really important that both areas have people at the table. And so I think it's really great that we have a candidate who's stepping up for Kenny Heights, because we've had a long history from Stevie Stern on down of activity from Western Heights, and we continue to have good representation and good candidates coming forward from Western Heights. But I do think it's really great that we have parallel participation from the other half of our Area 4, and that would be Kenny Heights. So Paul, I really appreciate you stepping up and being willing to commit for a good term. Thank you.
Okay. So, okay, I'm circling back to the oh, Krishna, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
I just wanted to make a comment because I ran for Area 4 last year and I lost to somebody from Kenny Heights from a vote of 39-4. I forgot the guy's name. I just wonder what happened to that winner.
His job circumstance changed and he wasn't able to continue to serve. And so he came on board, was very interested in some of our environmental committees and others, but we lost him fairly short. He did not play out. And so we were, so unfortunately, that's the card that was dealt, but it's very nice to have another member of Kenny Heights. Paul had expressed some interest at the time, but did not step up when the other individual did. So it's nice to see we have some depth coming from the Kenny Heights area. To answer your question.
Yeah, Raheem.
Hi, and apologies. You'll definitely hear my son in the background because he won't be quiet right now. But I feel the need to say something like this every time we have people coming forward to run. Just speaking to my own experience when I became interested in and then ran for my board position, I think a lot is made of what people have done, and I think that's very important. But I think what I've seen, at least in my short time on the board, is that that's not necessarily always an indicator of what somebody will be for our board. You know, there's a lot of work that happens to like keep this board going and in the committees, and that work in certain times feels like it's only being done by a handful of people. And so, well, I think it's important to have representation from all of our neighborhoods. I think it's also important that we are looking fully at what somebody can bring to our board, and have that not just be based on the ways that they have contributed in the past or things that they've done or things that they've said. Because to a point that was made earlier, like those candidates don't always make for the best board members. So I just want to remind everybody to kind of keep, for us to keep, my approach to this, let me rephrase that. My approach to this is to kind of keep a very broad perspective on the candidates that come before us for the board. That's it.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so now we're in the, I see no more hands up. And I know I was chided previously that we're not asking and are not able to ask our candidates to go into the waiting room. So now we have to have the hard thing of either they volunteer or we continue to discuss them as if they're not here in third person. And also, Greg, hang on a sec, and also discuss sort of a going forward administrative aspect of appointments as well as this specific appointment. Greg.
I understand what you've said. I don't know if he's correct in that, but I don't have any text to say it's right or wrong. I just thought it was just a polite thing that when we were voting on the person and discussing them, that they would go into a waiting room. And that way people could, yeah, that's my concern.
Well, it's interesting, Greg, because my experience, which is not long, because I didn't pay that much attention over the years, is that we always ask them to walk into the
Yes,
hallway.
we did. We did.
And never were they actually in the room. So
Yes. So I don't
I don't
I
know.
don't I don't agree
know
with that
either.
statement. I don't agree
If it
with your
makes
statement.
if it makes it easier for the group, I'm more than comfortable to be put into a room.
Yeah.
Just don't put me in the corner.
So that would also then be up to Krishna.
I will concur. I have no problem being in the room. I was in the room.
No. In the room or in the waiting room. I think Paul said he would be willing to go into the waiting room.
That's
Yeah,
what he's saying.
I've been in the hallway 5 or 6 times already before.
Okay. So if it is okay with the two of you, I would like to put you both in the waiting room, and this is voluntary, not mandatory. But I'm gonna just do that. And there went Krishna, and I'm looking for Paul, unless somebody already captured it. Oh. Okay. So we have 2 people in the waiting room, and Greg, where do we go from here? Because
I think we need to discuss the 2 positions
Right.
and who we want to put in each position. And
right.
then
So
find that out.
for folks on the board, George Sanchez also has resigned, and that email came to me late yesterday. So we actually have a second position, and we were anticipating that because he had missed so many meetings. That's why we tabled item 6. It would have been a discussion of whether or not we should remove George. So there was some hint that we would have the 2 positions, one of which is at-large Group A through 2021, and another one is at-large Group B, which goes all the way through 2023. So one option is we keep the second position, meaning George's, open, and we re-advertise and we wait till January. And then I should also mention Asai has resigned effective January. So we're facing a bit of a quorum, not a small bit, we're facing a large bit of a quorum issue. So we'd be facing that for January. Technically, from a perspective of the city, from Department of Neighborhood Empowerment, because it's on the agenda that potentially we would appoint this Group B seat, we can do that tonight. So we could, even though it's not our normal standard operating procedure, could just say yes to both of them, and what we'd be doing now is deciding who gets the longer seat. So that's an option, but it would be violating sort of a mission we have of marketing. But you know, I think that's really what the discussion I'd like to have is, should we appoint 2 seats tonight? And I see Tori's hand and Paula's hand. So let
my hand's up too.
Dorit's hands up also.
This is Paula. Really liked both and I did raise my blue hand.
Oh, did we miss you earlier? Sorry.
I raised my blue hand and my brown
Paula,
hand.
you're cutting out.
No, I just raised it so that I could speak now.
Okay.
two of you got it. Thank you, Marielle and Chris and Laura. So I really like both.
The levity help.
Okay, guys, let Paula speak.
Liked both candidates, and I was sitting here thinking, wow, it's too bad we don't have a position for both. So I think it's wonderful. We need them if we can do that. That's my input.
All right, Tori, your hand is up. And did somebody else say their hand was up?
Yeah, mine's been up.
Okay, so Tori, then Dorit.
Yeah, mine was up for a while. It's been up so long, I almost forgot what I needed. But both candidates, you said area A and area B?
Well, no, they're at large. One is 6 months and one is 2 years and 6 months.
Okay, at large. One's 6 months and one's 2 years and 6 months.
Basically.
Okay.
Meaning George just ran for election, now he's resigned. He can't.
Yeah, I understand. So yeah, I don't see why we shouldn't be able to vote for both tonight and put one in each seat.
Okay.
But that's just my opinion.
Okay, Dorit. And then,
I'm
and
going to
then
give you
Chris.
some historical perspective here. When Hugo and I ran under the same circumstances, we were appointed, excuse me, when Hugo and I were appointed under the same circumstances where there was one advertised opening and one, oh, sorry, my cat keeps meowing, and one opening that happened right before we were appointed. The board appointed both of us, and then I believe there was a coin flip to decide who got the longer term. So I think we should do a coin flip. But if at all possible, I really wouldn't mind, since I've got the shorter term, I wouldn't mind taking that longer term, but I understand that that may not be kosher.
Okay. Chris.
You're absolutely right. Coin toss.
I'm sorry.
What was that, Jeff?
He was commenting on Dorit's statement.
Okay.
But what was the comment?
The
Coin toss. He was endorsing coin toss.
Right. If you as a board decide to appoint both of them, even though one is a new open position that hasn't been advertised, yes, we need to have bodies on the board. But at the same time, when it comes to who gets what term, they need to agree to a coin toss, and that needs to be done while we're on the meeting.
Okay, so well, there's no, I'm sorry, Jeff, I'm going to actually say we can decide that that's the way to do it. They don't need to just agree to it. And I mean, in other words, that's the way we did do it one time, actually 2 times, because we did that with Nancy and Janie as well. But we've never done that. But we've never done that before. So so anyway, I see a lot of hands up. So Chris
is up.
And John.
Well, I think it's great that we have 2 positions open, and we have 2 candidates that have come before us and with recommendations from the executive board, and they both bring a certain amount of, distinct passion with them. I would like to propose that the seat B seat, that we place Paul in that, partly to make sure that Kenny Heights does have representation, because we already have, that would make 3 people from Western Heights already sitting on the governing board, and Krishna, the seat A. If the group was so moved, otherwise we can I didn't realize we'd done coin tosses, but we can certainly decide that as well.
Okay,
that's what I would propose.
John.
I support. I support doing both tonight. I think I think it's a embarrassment of riches to have 2 seats, 2 good candidates, and I think getting it done with, and especially as it is agendized.
And then Janie's next.
Okay. Janie.
Just wanted to say, kind of, if we aren't going to do the coin toss, I would say I would vote for making Krishna on the longer board seat, just because I feel like he brings a perspective that we really could use, and he has a really interesting background in the neighborhood and has an interesting approach to solving problems that I think was very beneficial.
Cordell's next.
Yeah. Oh. So just as a point of reference, what I recall with Hugo and Dorit, we also asked them what their preference was. And I don't think we've even explored if Paul or Krishna have a preference.
Right.
It might actually just solve the issue up front.
Right. Okay.
Then I think Chris had a hand up again.
No, I've just had, it didn't go down.
Tori, did your hand go back up?
No, Laura put her hand up.
Laura has a hand up.
Right. I'm hearing the differing points of view, and so I want to jump in. So I've been here 38 years. I've known maybe not Krishna exactly, but his whole family for most of that time. His brother Martin basically sat on my front porch every single day for about 7 years and did my gardening and had a beer or 2 and just hung out. I don't know why he didn't hang out on his own front porch, but he liked my front porch. So there you go. And similarly with Paul, since they've been in the neighborhood, he and his partner, the other Paul, we always call him Paul and Paul, and never remember which Paul's first. I've just known them forever. So I know both of them would serve us well. I do have concern that with Krishna, he gets very angry, and I would at times. So I'd prefer to see how it goes and give him the shorter term or do the coin toss. Because I'm just again, this is the many years of knowing, but everybody deserves the redemption chance as well. So that's just my perspective as an actual neighbor that's known the family and known him for years. Chris, is your hand up again on purpose, or is it just?
No, I thought I didn't click on lower. My bad. Sorry.
Okay, Tori. But again, I just want to say I can go either way. Both of them are going to be great board members in one way or another. So I'm just giving you my kind of thought, but I could be so wrong. Tori.
Unmute, Tori.
Tori, you're muted. You're still muted. Ah, there you go.
I know. I was over there and it muted and I went over here. Anyway, what I was gonna say is technically that statement should have not been made.
Why?
Because that's a personal thing. Everybody gets angry every now and then, and you got to have a certain demeanor to deal with some of the people on the streets like he does. Okay, so he's not afraid, and he's willing to do the work that others aren't. So I just think that's wrong to make that statement about the anger issue, because we can deal with that. I can deal with it.
I do.
If he's gonna work with me and the homelessness, whoever he's gonna work with, if he's out there doing the work and he's getting it done. Man.
Okay, Chris, then Paula. Chris, then Paula.
I raised my hand to that point, and what I think Laura may be referring to, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a point of record. Krishna was a monitor for Nextdoor, and on 2 occasions was removed from being a monitor because he took over and published very, just obscenity-laden rants, and as to people, which of course affects a certain perception of an organization. And so he may have, and in 2 occasions, he'd served as monitor and he was removed as monitor because he couldn't restrain from those kinds of outbursts. And that's in a public forum. So I think he's a good candidate, and I believe he's matured through that experience, and hopefully he's learned how to temper himself. But I don't think it was inappropriate for Laura to mention, because that was a fact that was in the neighborhood, because Nextdoor is widely seen. And of course, we also are widely seen. So that's what I believe Laura was referring to.
Paula had a hand up.
Yes, Paula is next.
I just feel like we're going around and around. I mean, that is interesting. I've seen people with anger issues, and that can be a problem, but I think we're back to coin toss. Okay. That's my opinion. Bring them in, let them know that we would appreciate having them both on the board, and toss the coin and see who gets what.
Okay, we have one more hand up. Go ahead.
Who? Monsieur 63?
Right. Is that Carlos?
63.
No answer.
Okay.
Answer. All right, hands down.
Hey guys, I'm sorry. This is Carlos.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Hi, Carlos.
Hi, my apologies. I'm actually in my vehicle and I'm picking up my daughter. But the only statement I wanted to go ahead and make was the choice. Right? We need to, in my opinion, I think we need to give them a choice, opposed to a coin toss, because it goes back to what Cordell said initially, right? What they're looking to provide, what they're looking to get out of it. And the other piece is, the history with regards to what took place on Nextdoor and that sort of thing. Any reason why they weren't able to give, or I guess ask him that question? He may have had I guess a valid explanation, or if that makes sense, right?
Okay.
That's it. That's all I had to say.
Okay, and then Dorit, and maybe you're the last.
Going back to the coin toss thing, when it was Hugo and I, what happened was it was a coin toss. Hugo won it, then Hugo chose the longer term. So there was a coin toss and a choice in the picking of it. So I think we should do the exact same thing this time. Do a coin toss, let the winner pick which one they want. I don't remember how we did it with
Okay.
Jenny and
Anybody have an idea how to do a coin toss on Zoom?
Yes.
Does anyone have a coin?
I have lots of
I
coins.
haven't had a coin in months, you guys.
I got a bag of coins. Here, here's my
coins,
bag.
but you can't take them out anywhere. Okay, so Greg, you'll have to do the coin toss. Okay, let's let him back in. So.
And I'll show my
They're
camera.
coming in.
And I'll show my camera to make sure it's legit. Okay.
No, I'm sure we're gonna trust you on
No,
that.
no. We'll verify.
Should we tell them what's going on?
Yeah. So, Paul and Krishna, what's going on is that I received late yesterday an email of resignation from another one of our board members, and that person was an at-large rep in Group B with a seat that lasts to 2023. So we do have 2 seats. So what we've decided is to invite both of you to be on the UNNC board, and not for us to say who gets the 6-month 2021 seat and who gets the 2.5-year 2023 seat, but rather it's a coin toss. The winner of the coin toss can pick which of the 2 seats he wants. Now, how the heck does a coin toss work anyway, Greg? It's still 2 people.
Well, I flip it.
No, I know that, but who gets to say heads and tails? How do we do this?
We just ask him who wants to.
Who wants head? So it's the same thing. Who wants heads and who wants tails?
I'll pick a number between 1 and 10 and see who gets to pick heads and tails.
Oh Lord.
That's a coin toss.
It doesn't matter.
You toss a coin.
I know it. I'm just trying to get through it. I'm just trying to get through it.
Just let Paul pick. Let Paul pick.
Paul pick. Pick heads or tails.
Heads. I'll take heads.
Okay, wait a minute. So I'm flipping the coin. It went underneath my thing, so I'm gonna slide it out.
What does
That
heads
happens to
get?
me.
It's heads.
So you get to pick which position you want.
I'll take the longer term position.
Okay, so congratulations to both of you.
We haven't
Welcome
voted.
aboard, guys.
No, we haven't voted yet.
Now we
still
have
haven't
to
voted.
vote.
We have to vote.
Yeah. Well, now we have to do a motion, but I'm gonna say it's still real. Okay, so what
I got it. I got it already.
you do? Okay, you're gonna
Yes.
post it?
Yeah. Well, I'll just read it out right now. Motion to appoint Paul King.
Yeah, we have to do them separately, by the way.
I have them all ready to do separately. Motion to appoint Paul King to Group
Okay.
B through 2023.
2023 at large.
At large.
Greg, is this your motion?
I'm looking at my BAC that I've already.
No. Are you making the motion?
I made the motion, yes.
Who seconds?
Second, Hugh.
Okay, so that will be, and then the second one.
There's the motion.
So let's vote on that one first.
Okay, you have to call the roll.
Yes. Dorit,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Carlos. I'll come back to you, Carlos. Tori?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, can
Carlos?
everyone unmute, please?
Yes, for Carlos.
Okay. Gabby,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Hugh? Hugh?
You or Hugo?
I said
You.
Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Paula. Paula.
Oops. Yes.
Hugo.
Yes.
Okay. Raheem.
Yeah.
Isaac.
Yes.
Marielle.
Yes.
Hugh, did I get your vote?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Cordell.
Yes.
Michael still absent, correct?
Correct.
Chris.
Yes.
Greg, yes. Nancy still absent. Janie
Yes.
and Lizzie.
Yes.
Okay, that gives us 17 yeses, and we have 3 absents on Paul being appointed to the Group B at-large 2023 seat. Okay. All right. Okay, so let me.
I'm doing the next one. At large.
I have it typed already.
Are you posting it?
I'm not posting it in the
Well,
chat.
I am. So I'm
Okay
doing the
then,
posting because
okay,
that we have the chat record. So whose motion is it to appoint Christian McCain to Group A at large?
I'll do that one too.
Greg.
I'll second. This is Dorit.
Okay. That's the motion in the chat.
Okay, so this would be B. Okay, ready? Ready to vote?
Yep.
Yes.
Everybody please unmute.
Okay, I'm gonna go opposite way. Lizzie,
Yes.
Janie,
Yes.
Nancy still absent. Greg, yes. Chris,
Yes.
Michael still absent. Cordell,
He's
Yes.
still,
Cordell,
Yes.
thank you, sir. Hugh,
Yes.
Marielle,
Yes.
Isaac,
Yes.
Raheem. Coming
Sorry.
back to
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Paula,
yes.
Hugo,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
I'm sorry. Gabby,
Yes.
Tori,
Yes.
Carlos,
Yeah, yes.
John,
Yes.
Dorit.
Yes.
Okay, a procedural question. Since we already voted on Paul's, does Paul get the vote on this one, or should he not vote on this one? I think
No,
not.
he could not vote.
I need
not.
training.
This one, but then
Yeah, I
he
think
can-
no. He's
but then
had
he
no
can put on
training.
the land use
Right,
items
right.
as we go forward,
Right.
both of them.
Okay, so we're good with 3 absent and then same count, 17.
Well, so have Paul be a abstain.
Okay. Okay.
Madam President,
Yes, ma'am.
do we have quorum?
We do.
Yeah, we do.
If I had to leave, do we have quorum?
We do.
Especially after we seat these 2 fellas.
Yeah, we have
Can
quorum.
you wait a minute?
I can wait a minute, but unfortunately,
We have
I
quorum.
understand.
I'm gonna have to go lie down. I'm sorry.
We still have quorum.
We have quorum
We have
anyway.
quorum.
Christine,
We have
go
quorum
take
to
care.
go.
Chris, take care of yourself.
Okay.
We have quorum.
Right.
Okay, we're good. Okay, sweet. We're done with that.
Okay, so
Welcome
yay.
aboard, guys.
Bye, Chris.
Welcome.
So don't go away, Paul. don't say. So Krishna and Paul, you are. We don't have a ceremony, but you. If we were in person, we'd say come sit at the table. But of course, you're already at the Zoom table.
Cheers.
So welcome. Cheers. So basically, you guys can vote on land use items and some of the other items, but not on any financial items. You haven't taken any training. Yes, Greg.
Yeah, they can't vote on anything if they haven't taken the
Code of conduct.
code of conduct.
Yeah, ethics.
You're saying they cannot vote on anything at
They
all?
can't vote on anything until they take the code
Never
of
mind,
conduct.
sorry, but please don't
They
leave
can be
because we are
present.
using your bodies for quorum. As we start, as Raheem has to go in and out dealing with his kids and Chris had to leave. So please stay in your seats. So at least you count towards quorum now. Is that right, Greg?
If they haven't done code of conduct,
Then they have 30 days to take code of conduct.
I would say, yeah, they probably count on quorum, but they can't vote on anything. I
Okay.
will investigate further because that's like a very fine point.
But I know they can be here because we always seat our
We do want them to be here, yes.
Yeah.
Can I say something? This is Dorit. When I was appointed to the board, we voted that night. Not on the financial stuff, but we voted that night.
I know.
That's my recollection too. But
Yes. I know that's true. I just know that as we're reading things, I'm just trying to be a stickler for what the rules are so that we're always following the rules.
Well, Greg, why don't we do this? I don't think we have much of anything where we're going to have
We don't have anything to vote on anyway. But
yeah, I don't think we're having controversial split items.
I just wanted to be accurate, that's all.
Okay, but they're seated at the board table. Congratulations, yes. We have no ceremony. Yes. Moving on because we're running late. That's why I'm trying to push us along. Hi, Alex, are you still here? Is Alex still here? Alex Wu?
The name is, but it's muted. He's muted.
I understand. So our next item, we're moving on to planning and zoning, item 8A, which is a case called ZA, which stands for Zoning Administration, ZA 2020-4179 CUX at 4000 West Washington Boulevard. This is the restaurant Mi Pueblo Viejo, which I may or may not have pronounced correctly, that is currently in existence on the corner of Washington and 10th Avenue. And this is an application to continue their conditional use permit that they already have to allow the sale and dispensing of a full line of alcoholic beverages on-site consumption only. And obviously not at this point because all the restaurants are closed for inside thing. But anyway, the Planning and Zoning Committee does recommend that the UNNC Governing Board support the proposal as presented. So I don't know if Alex really is still here or not. That's what I'm trying to, I can share the screen with the application. Oh, hi, Alex.
Good evening. How are you?
Fine.
Happy Friday Eve.
Do you want to tell everybody about 3 minutes worth of stuff about this?
Oh, did you want me to do a presentation? Oh, I have
the application, but I don't know that we need it unless anyone asks. But if you could introduce yourself and, a minute or two, just something. Yes, please.
Hi, good evening. My name is Alex Wu with Genesis Consulting. We are the representative firm that's representing the location at 4000 West Washington. As stated by Laura, we are seeking to get your support for the continued operation of the restaurant. Obviously, during the pandemic, the restaurant has been closed for the past 9 months, but we would like to be able to have the CUP renewed. And the proposed request of the CUP is basically just a continued use of the previous grant. There's no expansion, there's no extension, there's no intensification of the request. So we would greatly appreciate your support and would love to be able to have the restaurant be able to reopen once we are all back to somewhat of a normalcy here. So,
So I've shared the screen, which Greg, that means I really can't see if anybody has their hands raised. But this is a rather straightforward application. What I'm showing is the application. And, as we put it on the agenda, it's the continuance to allow this 4,100 square foot restaurant to continue to serve alcohol And they also have what they're calling a dance hall. That just means people can dance, right, Alex?
Yes, ma'am. It's just saying that is a patron dancing is allowed within the restaurant. That's just a component of the restaurant. It's not a nightclub. It's more of a restaurant, but then you will have some small dedicated area where people can have the patron dancing option.
And I'm just flipping through this. No intent to develop a larger project. No intent to file a subdivision. And this is pretty much the proposal because it's already in existence. So, so the motion again, which would be me making the motion, is that we recommend to the governing board that it support the Mi Pueblo Viejo restaurant's proposal as presented. And I'm going to grab that and put it in the chat. Is there a second to this?
Second.
Okay.
I have a question.
Sure. Can you hang on 1 second while I manage to do the bureaucratic thing of posting it? Okay. I'm sorry, I just forgot who seconded it.
Hugh.
Thank you. So Hugo, you have a question? Is that right?
Yeah. So this is only for extending the ability for them to continue serving alcohol that they served before. Just that only.
Correct. Is that right, Alex? There's no change in hours. There's no change in anything, right?
No, ma'am. There's no intensification. Basically, it's just a carryover from the previous grant.
Okay. And so this has nothing to do with like building anything new or changing anything at all. Okay.
Yeah, there's no expansion. There's no intensification. It's basically what was there. We just need to renew it because it had a sunset clause.
It had a what clause? Sorry.
Sunset clause meaning there was a termination, like there was an expiration. So it needs to be renewed.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Greg? You're mute. Mm-hmm. Am I the only one still wearing a hat, by the way? Can I take my holiday hat off? I'm doing that.
Yes, please, please, please. Alex, what's your current hours for serving alcohol and to include the weekends?
I don't have the application in front of me.
I do.
Thank you.
Monday through Thursday, it's 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Friday through Sunday, it goes to 1:30 a.m.
Thank you, Laura.
Okay, thank you.
And again, noting that this is the one that's, sharing the parking lot with the grocery store. So, and eventually the 24-hour Planet Fitness. Marielle, you're muted. Marielle, you're muted.
Good. I'm sorry. This may sound petty, but I would like to ask that if people come before a board representing somebody in a matter of official business, that they actually have the facts. I don't like to hear people say, I'm not really sure. Can someone else answer that? That we're a serious board and they're asking us for something, and going forward, I would like them to be prepared. Just my 2 cents. There you have it, because it's kind of a waste of time to have someone say, well, I don't really know.
I would like to add that information is in our agenda.
Great. Thanks, Paula.
Okay. So, obviously, they did come, and we had a real long session at the Planning and Zoning Committee. So, but be that as may, your point's well taken. And is there any other questions or comments?
Madam Chair, I would suggest calling the vote.
Calling the question, is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. Greg, do you want to call the roll? The motion is that the UNNC Governing Board support the Mi Pueblo Viejo restaurant's proposal as presented. And the phrase "as presented" means as presented to the planning department, not as presented necessarily to us. If you under.
I'm with you. It's posted. Okay, ready? Dorit?
Wait, everybody unmute, please. We're calling the BAC roll.
Dorit? Coming back to Dorit. John?
Yes.
Carlos?
Yes.
Tori?
Yes.
Gabrielle? Gabby?
Yes.
Laura?
Are you calling me? Yes.
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 Hugo?
Yes.
Paula?
Yes.
Rahim?
I realize I'm not the first nor the last to think
Rahim?
that I could keep.
Coming back to Rahim.
Oh, Raheem. Yeah, no, Raheem is going in and out. He's at the moment out.
Isaac?
Yes.
Marielle?
Yes.
Hugh?
Yes.
Cordell?
Yes.
Michael still absent. Chris? She's
Absent.
absent now. Greg? Yes. Nancy's absent. Janie?
Yes.
And then Lizzie, I'm sorry, Lizzie?
Yes.
Okay, and then
Are you
I guess we
calling
should
on
let
our
the
new
new
board
individuals.
members? What did you
Yes,
decide?
yes. Well, Dorit is correct. We did allow the other members to vote, but so Krishna?
Yes.
Okay. Paul?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I thought he was circling back to Raheem and someone else.
Thank you. Rahim?
Okay. Raheem is temporarily across
Absent.
well, he's not gone, but he's putting a kid to bed.
Yeah, that's counts as absent for the vote.
Yes, it is.
And then I think it was, did I get Carlos?
He said yes.
Yeah, you got me already. Yep.
Okay, and Dorit, there you go, I didn't hit.
Dorit just had a family emergency and walked out. So Dorit is now actually for real absent, as opposed to around the corner putting a kid to
Okay,
bed.
doesn't, yeah, okay, so motion pass. So the count, need to count now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
That's all.
16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I'm counting wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I will double check that. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 absent. Okay, next.
Okay. Moving on, right, to the next item. Are we ready?
We're ready.
Okay. So the next item, which is number 8B, an update to case number TT, which stands for Tentative Track 74990, and ENV Environmental 2017-3217, located at 1509 to 1515 South Gramercy Place. At the time we put this on the agenda. It was scheduled for a hearing on Tuesday next. That hearing, it's my understanding from current Council District 10 staff, has been moved to February 4th when we have a new council member. We passed, I just posted, this is the motion and resolution we passed previously. So background on the case, this is located at Gramercy between 15th and Venice. It is, if I'm not mistaken, Hugo, it's like very close to your house, so you may need to abstain on this. It was, and that's the sad thing, it was a 1904 Mission Revival home that had been called out by Survey LA as eligible individually for the National Register. This had come before us some while ago as a proposed condominium and a demolition of that. And at the first meeting, the developer had said to UNNC's Planning and Zoning Committee that essentially they were going to, quote, get rid of the tenants, not do an LS. They weren't planning to design it to fit the character residential overlay zone, which was pending at the time, and they had not done a historic assessment. So this ended up dragging on. The permits expired, so it wasn't vested, and we've had some issues with the planning department who vested it anyway. Vesting means they did not have to comply with all of the overlay zone. UNNC voted last February, so almost a year ago, to oppose the project, support an appeal that had been written by then, oppose the demolition, and essentially oppose the project for a whole lot of the reasons that you see in front of you. This was our vote. We adopted it. We filed a community impact statement, so on and so forth. The hearing was in February that this motion was supporting, and then it was further appealed to City Council, and COVID hit. So it's just been mired in, not having a City Council hearing. And for some reason, the Planning Department and Building and Safety, nonetheless, even though the project's not even approved yet, approved the demolition permit without informing anybody. And it's under, so the historic house is gone, and the new project is topping out in terms of framing. And the City Council approval hasn't even happened yet. So what we voted to recommend at the Planning and Zoning Committee is that, we don't need to re-vote on our resolution, but we voted to make this motion that I just posted in the chat, that UNNC moved to reaffirm the position that UNNC, of UNNC taken in February 2020, and that we should write a letter to the new council member, Mark Ridley Thomas, to explain the background and, oops, spelled wrong, UNNC's position, and that the letter, this all happened yesterday, because the hearing was supposed to be while it was still Herb Wesson's watch. So this all happened yesterday, so that the letter was not, we didn't stay up to the middle of the night and write it to last night, for the letter to be approved via email by the executive committee. And this would just be one of the many open cases that we need to present to our new council member, Mark Ridley Thomas. So that's the motion. I can make it technically, and then we would need a second.
Second.
John second.
John.
So again, this is not changing anything in the already filed with City Council resolution. This would be a motion to essentially write a letter to the new council member explaining all of our reasoning from, by then it will be a year ago. So is there discussion, comments, questions, anything?
I have a question.
Yes, Janie.
So the building has already been taken down?
All gone. We didn't, I drove by it. Yes, surprise, all gone.
So what is our aim at this point? What are we trying to accomplish?
Well, I don't know. John, do you want to take that or should I take it? Because when I take it, I'm filled with rage and outrage and you know, I mean, this is not the way our city government is supposed to act. And if that's the only message that goes forward, it's not a bad one. This case was very bad. The developer's permits had expired. The municipal code says if your permits expire, you are not vested. Vested is technical, but it means you don't have the right to build something that doesn't meet the character residential overlay zone. You don't have the right to demolish a historical building that's a contributor to a character residential overlay zone. When the appellant filed the appeal saying those things, the planning department called the developer and said, uh-oh, or like a dog would say, ruh-oh, you better go over to building and safety and get those permits renewed. And he did. It's just that the municipal code says you can't do that for vesting. You can do it. Anybody can go get a permit renewed, but not to be vested and not be responsible for following the new overlay zone. We worked very hard for that. So that was the original purpose. I think the message about department behavior and promises made to residents and our stakeholders, I mean, all of those things is what we're still discussing. In the end, if you're asking, can the appellant take this ultimately to a court of law and win a lawsuit? No, because that house was demolished. So that, you know, the actual CEQA part is a little difficult, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't send that message. That's my opinion. John is probably calmer about the whole thing.
So just to clarify, we're basically just sending a message that we disapprove of how it all went down and hope they do better in the future.
Well, we're sending a message to the council member telling him what happened and hope he will send the message further.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. And I will say, John will help write the letter because I'm angry and would have a hard time making it sound nice.
Okay.
Can we call for the question?
What, John?
I have a comment to make.
Okay, Hugo.
Yeah, I live close to there, and what I was doing a couple months ago was I was going outside in like the grass area of my apartment to read and stuff like that. And one thing I noticed was that there was a lot of smoke, and I don't know if it was like pieces of wood or something from the development that I could smell it. And I was maybe like 200 feet apart or something. Like I don't know specific, but I'm very close to it, and I was able to smell it. And I don't think that's something that should be happening in that area, especially because there's a lot of children right in front of that development. And I just wanted to bring that up. I'm not sure who's the right person or.
Yeah, Hugo. I'm trying to control my comments. This was just done wrong every step of the way. So if you're telling me it's being done wrong under construction too, it doesn't really surprise me.
Okay. I just wanted to bring that up.
Thank you. Hugh?
I just wanted to say I don't see there's any reason why the letter needs to be nice.
Tell John that because he wants to make sure I'm nice at all times.
I've never said that. I think it. I'm not sure. I don't know how we would, as a board, voice that we did change the letter. I mean, it's our prerogative to change the letter if we wish to.
I think the letter we're talking about, though, John, is a letter to Mark Ridley Thomas, not a change of the resolution itself. The resolution is a resolution. It's already on file with the city, that resolution. If we wanted to do a new resolution, weirdly enough, we now have time and could do it at the January meeting. Just saying. But this motion has to do with a letter.
Are we ready to vote?
Yes,
I hope
please.
so.
Okay, so Lizzie,
I had posted in the chat what the motion was.
it's on the BAC. Thank you, Lizzie.
I
Janie,
wanted another comment too, if it's possible. Just a quick
Madam
comment.
President.
Sure.
Madam President, if someone wants to make a comment. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
This is more of like a neighbor thing, like from that area. Me and a lot of the people who live in that street right here. I know it's kind of difficult to affect what kind of developments can happen in the area, but a lot of people in that street, you know, we've discussed, oh, look at that building being built. And I would tell them, oh, it's, you know, 4 condominiums. A lot of us were just kind of confused. And, you know, I know this is a whole nother discussion, but we were just confused why there's condominiums being built right there in an area where there's so many people who live in apartments who just can't afford that. And I know a lot of people in this street that are moving all the way to Monterey Park, that are moving, some are trying to move out of state just because they can't afford any apartments in the area. And I've tried to look around apartments nearby that are, you know, affordable, but it's just so hard. And in our area, it just confuses me and all of the other people I've spoken to on my street of, you know, why there's condominiums being built when I really feel, you know, more apartments should be built that can house the people that have lived in this
Sensitive to what?
What was that?
No, she's not commenting on your comment.
Okay. So I'm not the developer of this, and again, I am very deeply troubled by this development. However, he had the right, well, not really, because it hasn't been passed by council yet, but generally speaking, a developer has a right to propose a for sale housing, just as somebody else has a right to propose 100% affordable. So, and so I understand your point, but that wouldn't be necessarily a proper thing at this point to be taking a stand on. I mean, you know, I don't know. I think we have all kinds of housings in United Neighborhoods, Neighborhood Council's footprint, and I think that people who are using private money have the right to kind of do that too. However, in this case, he also evicted longtime tenants, and I'm not sure if that process was done properly. And I think that is something we can address in the letter that we're going to write to the council member. So if we pass this in a timely manner. Okay. So Greg, I do think we're probably ready to vote.
Okay. Let me find my BAC again. There it is. Lizzie?
Yes.
Danny?
Yes.
That would be nice.
Nancy's absent. Greg, yes. Chris is absent. Michael's absent. Cordell?
Yes.
You? You?
Are you asking for Hugh or Hugo?
You, yes, sir, you. Mr.
Hugh.
Moore? Yes.
You.
Turn on the stove.
Okay, I didn't get, I still didn't hear your vote.
No, what I mean is like.
You. Coming back to you. Marielle?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I heard it, you. Isaac?
Yes, yes.
Okay, Raheem?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, he's back. Thank you. Thank you. Paula?
Absolutely.
Okay. Hugo?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Gabby?
Oh, Gabby's voting yes. She's lost her audio.
Oh, man.
She's what?
Gabby voted yes in the chat because she
Okay,
has
that's fine.
lost her audio.
Tori?
Yes.
Carlos,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Krishna,
Yes.
Dorit, absent, and Isaiah's absent. Okay, so, all right. So we got 16 and 6 on that one.
All right. John, I'm going to let you take this next one, and let's try and take it in 3 minutes. It's the update on case number ZA 15227, parentheses O for oil, parentheses PA5, which is the 5th version of this since 1962, at the oil drilling site at 2126 West Adams. So, John, you were going to...
So, it's a simple, what was noted by...
Yeah, I have the word. I have the verbiage. I'll post it.
I can read it. I have the verbiage too.
Okay.
So it's just pretty simple. Just this is information only. No vote is needed. A neighbor who is adjacent to the site at Murphy, as you all know, we're shut down over the years. There should be nothing going on there, but there is activity at the oil site. It's not yet known what that is, but it was noted by a neighbor. It was reported to Earth Justice. Earth Justice wrote a letter to the city's geological management department, and there's action being taken about what is happening on that site because there is activity. So it's just information only to the neighborhood, and we have nothing to vote on and discuss as needed.
Right. So I'm going to add to that. It's the city's asking a question, and actually, John, they're not shut down. They just had 2 changes of ownership, so they had very low level of activity. So the city's asking about the activity.
Okay, sorry about that.
So, this is on the agenda because we weren't sure what the letter had said from Earth Justice, but UNNC had received the planning department's letter back to the oil company saying, referencing that letter and saying, we need your response. So the response hasn't happened yet, and we now have seen the Earth Justice letter with just some questions. So are there any questions about this? You have the opportunity that both letters are up in our online packet if you want to read them, but they're basically asking questions and not giving answers. Seeing no blue hands, we also have Planning and Zoning Committee update, follow up to previous cases, blah, blah, blah. And what, John, I'm losing track. We just decided that we're going to have to kind of figure out how to pass on all of our these open cases, how we're going to pass the information. It's not just planning cases. We have some other stuff open to the new council members. So we were talking about how to figure that out. And John, I'm losing track. We did not make any decisions, right? The only decision was to talk about it further.
We decided to look to January to have a meet and greet of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing voted on. It was only discussed.
Right. Okay. So the next item on the agenda is number 9. Appoint a UNNC representative to the LAX roundtable, which includes the issues centering on FAA Quiet Skies, that issue. So John Arnold is our representative, and Gabby, we had appointed her, but it turns out they're meeting during the day when she works. So Jeff Camp has asked, can we appoint him in lieu of Gabby, because Gabby can't do it. And Jeff was doing it on behalf of Council District 10. So he's had a seat at the literal LAX roundtable for some time now. So that's the proposal. And it can be the motion if there's any comments, anything?
Just to clarify, it was because Gavin Abercrombie had the seat.
Oh, right.
He resigned in the past month. I was the wingman of sorts. I was the second in command to take the meeting when he couldn't. So I did attend it a couple weeks ago. So that's the history.
So you're saying we'd have to appoint you to seat 1 and Jeff to seat 2?
No, I'm not saying that at all. I think I'm in seat 2, and the board can do at its at its pleasure.
Right, Jeff wants seat 2. Okay. I thought, John, you had already been elevated to be the person.
That's what I was going to say.
No, we were supposed to do that at this meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm.
Sorry. My memory.
Okay, but luckily,
Tori has a question.
Yes,
No,
hi, Tori.
well, I had a
Comment.
statement. I was just gonna say, I thought that was automatic that John would be C1 and Jeff 2 because of John being at the table of the board of UNNC.
Well, what?
For the record, it doesn't. I will do it at the board's pleasure.
Okay, thank you.
I'm happy to be in seat 1.
Okay, make it simple.
Okay, who's moving this? The motion would be moved to appoint John Arnold as the official UNNC rep to the LAX roundtable and Jeff Camp as the second seat. Moved by.
So moved. Q.
Okay.
I'll second, Gabby.
Okay, either way.
Okay. And Jeff, are you still here?
I'm still here.
So even though you said not too long ago, yes, see you later, you want this, right?
Okay, sure. Pull me back in however you can.
Yeah, didn't you call me and say you wanted it?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Okay. Tori, your hand's still up. Do you need it up still? Okay. All right. Is there anybody else? Anything else? Can we vote?
Yep.
All right. So the motion is posted. Move to appoint John Arnold as the official UNNC rep to the LAX roundtable and Jeff Camp as the second seat. Moved by Hugh Moore, seconded by Gabby.
Okay. Dorit.
Is absent.
Krishna.
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
Carlos.
Yes.
Tori.
Yes. Yes.
Gabby.
Yes.
Paul.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Hugo.
Yes.
Paula.
Yes.
Raheem.
Yep.
Isaac.
Yes.
Marielle.
Yes.
Hugh.
Yes.
Cordell.
Yes.
Greg. Yes. Janie.
Yes.
Lizzie.
Lizzie, you're muted.
Oh, I was muted. Yes, sorry.
Pass 16, 6 absent.
Okay. All right. So we're at 9:26 and we have on the schedule a 15-minute discussion with our area residential representatives regarding basically ideas on how to engage all of our respective neighbors and the neighborhood associations with UNNC while we're meeting virtually. This is a twist on a discussion idea that Greg had asked us to have. So Greg, maybe you should explain what your thinking is, even though sadly I twisted it a little.
Well, the concept is to involve people in our communities, to let people know about the different committees. And so just to share best practices that we have with our block clubs, with our neighbors, with any neighborhood associations that we have, of what we are doing to do outreach to those individuals, to let them know what UNNC is doing, and also to make sure that we are representing them and hearing their voices. But even though this is something that I proposed, I'm like, all right.
Late.
As the night goes on, I'm like, you know,
Right.
I just would like for us to just to think about that because of the late hour, for us just to think about that and just to be ready to share best practices. Maybe that could be something that's shared when we do our article that Raheem and Gabby, you know, asked us to write. Maybe that could be something that we can write about in those articles, or just share this is what we're doing. So I want to modify my request that not necessarily I don't want us to discuss it now because of the hour, but I would like for us to be mindful of sharing best practices so that we can inform our neighbors and get them involved and share the different committees that we need to recruit people for.
Okay.
So that's
Lizzie,
it.
okay, Lizzie, you have your hand up.
And maybe can we,
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
when we get together, oh,
Go ahead, Paula. Paula, go ahead.
Who's speaking?
Well, Paula was speaking and then she.
when we meet, okay, when we meet in, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay. When we meet in January, maybe we can discuss this and talk about things that we've done.
Yes.
Right.
You know, we can further this discussion is what I'm
Yes.
saying. Table
Yes.
it now, but talk about it in January. And as we are going through this month, just make note of things that we've done and bring that to the table in January.
Perfect. And
Okay,
maybe even the prior period. You know,
Can I let
before we
Lizzie
start.
speak because she has her hand up?
Yes, of course.
Yes, so I was also thinking, since we have a lot of money that we are yet to spend, maybe that would be a good way to do some outreach to the neighborhood associations, block clubs, and let them know that there is money available. But also, I guess we would need to, they would need to partner up, right, with a nonprofit in order to get a project, you know, to go.
Right.
So yes, I think, and maybe we could spread it out into our different regions.
Right. Well, that's
Because
what's
we
in
need
our
to spend the money.
Yeah, Lizzie, we have something along those lines in our budget. I think I think the idea here is when it wasn't a time of pandemic, the area reps would be attending, you know, so the 12 people who are elected to fill 2 each in 6 areas, the regional residential representative positions, would be going to their respective neighborhood association meetings physically and sharing, you know, what's up with Unnc, we have an election, we have this, we have money available, but how are the area reps, are they even able to do this in, you know, when we're meeting virtually, because not every region has multiple neighborhood associations that are meeting right now. So I think the nature of the discussion was sort of like a discussion about what area reps can even be doing to help out with this. And clearly it overlaps the outreach committee and the elections committee. So Greg, what I'm thinking is that maybe, because Lizzie, you have an outreach meeting this month. Remember, yeah. So maybe we can have this discussion maybe there, you know, to some extent, put that on the agenda and get it off of this agenda for the moment.
Okay. And
part
of this would be to even find out if we have block clubs, when those block clubs meet. Like if you have a mailing list, if you have a social media list, you know, and again, as Paula said, you know, come together and say what we have done with in our respective neighborhoods.
Right.
Okay.
So let's think about just sort of having some ongoing conversations via the committee structure, you know, outreach, executive, and then back to governing board next month.
Okay.
during the course of December. Tori?
Do you have any idea when we will be able to retreat again to discuss some outreach endeavors?
Well, we have an outreach meeting next Tuesday.
Okay.
Actually, yeah,
Oh.
not this Tuesday, but the next, right? Because it's the
No.
second Tuesday.
Second, isn't it the second Tuesday of the month?
Oh, we already had okay, never mind.
Yeah, I'm looking at a calendar. I mean, we can change it, but it's next Tuesday. We already had a Tuesday this month. It's actually
Okay.
next Tuesday.
What
Uh-oh,
time?
look
What
at her
time's
face.
outreach?
Oh my God. Yeah.
So we just have to check the schedule, right? We just have to, or do we get a notification of that to join the Zoom also?
Oh, you'll get we're going to do an agenda and send an e-blast out.
Okay, thank you.
Now that Lizzie remembers it's next Tuesday.
No, I was. I remember it was the 8th. Yes. The
Yeah.
8th.
Yeah.
And what time, Lizzie, is your meeting?
Oh yeah. What?
Oh.
I mean, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I just,
I don't remember right now.
I want to
I'm
come.
sorry.
I just don't.
Yes, I will.
I like going to bed early.
7:30 or 8.
Oh man, you gotta go to bed. Go to
Okay,
bed.
well, we're going to work on that tomorrow, Lizzie. Okay.
In your pajamas.
We're on that tomorrow. We'll do it. Okay, so let's move on. Oh, President's report. It's so late in the evening. I actually had some things I was going to say and I have forgotten.
Okay.
Other than the one. Greg, don't. That's mean.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's just mean.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Asai has resigned. So it means not only that there will be another seat available, but we will need to elect a vice president. So not tonight. And so we would, and we'll discuss whether it's even going to be at the January meeting, because I'm hoping that at the January meeting we can convince our new council member to come and speak to us, and hopefully with us. But if that should happen, we're not going to also have an election and a this and a that. I mean, that'll consume quite a bit of our time. So, but somebody will need to become the vice president. Okay, that's my president's report, because I've forgotten everything else I was maybe going to say. Secretary's report. And Gabby, did your audio come back?
It did, and I want to sincerely apologize to everyone because I still have not finished cleaning up those minutes. But I will definitely have to bring those next month, actually.
Yeah, before Dan yells at us.
Yeah, exactly. So I apologize, but thank you all.
Okay. Well, I'm sure everybody's thanking you right now, because that means we can move on. Right? Okay. Treasurer's report.
Okay, so I've closed too many windows, so I need to bring up another one. So let me see. Bear with me. Open. Okay, first thing we'll look at is the MERS for October. Make it larger. That's too large. Okay. Sharing screen. Can anyone see this?
Yes.
Okay, so this is our monthly expenditure report for the month of October. And as I go down through it, we see the money that we spent for outreach. We did some transfer of funds for community improvement projects that was requested from our communication committee. And then we changed them out for our neighborhood purpose grants. And then that's the actual money that we spent, you know, for Facebook boosts, for our web page manager, for a neighborhood purpose grant. And this is the information, this is the actual information of those funds that were expended, right? So I guess I'll make a motion that we approve the MERS for October as presented, or does anyone have any questions? Okay, make a motion that we approve the MERS for October.
Second.
Okay. Okay. All righty, so we ready to vote?
Yeah, I'm not going to post that. I mean, you know what the motion is. Approve October MERS.
I'm gonna just.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure how we're gonna vote. So.
Yeah, but we still have to.
I know.
Being recorded. Have to.
Okay, Lizzie.
Okay, so let me just remember, Krishna and Paul, you are not able to vote on this.
Okay.
Oh, now we're watching you do the BAC, Greg.
I know.
All right. It's shared with us.
I know.
Okay.
It's okay. Okay. Okay.
So yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me go back to Lizzie.
She voted yes.
Yes.
Okay, Lizzie's a yes. Janie.
Yes.
Greg, yes. Cordell.
Yes.
Hugh.
Yes.
Marielle.
Yes.
Isaac.
Yes.
Raheem.
Yep.
Paula.
Yes.
Hugo.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Paul. I'm sorry, Paul, you can't vote. Gabby.
Yes.
Tori.
Yes.
Carlos, you can't vote on this. John.
Yes.
And Dorit, so let me change to ineligible. And so that would be 13 and 6 absent. And then I need to clarify about the other new people, what column I should put them in, but I will check with you.
They're ineligible.
Yeah, I know, but I need to check. If they're ineligible on this, they may be ineligible for other things, but I will check on that.
Right.
So anyway, so it passed. Okay, so one of the things that I do, you know, not that, well, let me share screen again. Because I think we're gonna have such fun looking at all these reports, but then by the time we get to it, I'm like, I'm a little tired. Okay, so this is just a graphic of how we've spent money so far this year. And I think it's just good for us to have that. As Lizzie has said, we have funds and we have community projects, and that we want to use those funds in our communities. And I think that by advertising, saying to our neighbors that Unnc has funds for us to do community improvement projects, that may be a way of sparking the interest of our neighbors. So please, let's share that we have funds, we're stewards of these funds, but it's for the community, and let them know we want to spend it on them for things that they want to beautify their community. All right, that's all I have on the budget.
Okie doke. Okay, next item.
Tori has a question.
Oh, okay, I can't see that. But go ahead,
Wait,
Tori.
did you say you had 13?
13 what?
They voted for that.
16.
Is it 16?
Or
Yeah,
no,
because Krishna could not vote. He wasn't eligible. So he's ineligible.
I know Krishna, Paul, and Carlos, but
And Paul is not eligible, and Carlos is not eligible. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, excuse me, 14.
15.
14.
I have 15.
Who do you have 15 from?
Marielle, Isaac, Laura, Hugo, Greg, Lizzie, Janie, Cordell, Raheem, Gabby, Paula, Hugh, John. Oh, okay, Dorit. Okay, Dorit left, right?
14,
Dorit
yeah.
left.
Okay,
Yeah. All right, thank you.
thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we're at the last page of the agenda, you guys. Item 14, it's the committee updates and reports. First thing up is the budget advocates report, and that's Hugo, and he has one. So go ahead, Hugo.
Hello. Okay, let me set this up.
Up, where'd you go?
Okay, can you all hear me well? No.
We can
Yes.
hear you. Speak up a little,
Okay.
but we can hear you. Please.
Oh, okay. Okay. One second, I'm just moving my. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so it's around four major things. The first one is that the city administrative officer is scheduled to issue his second financial status report sometime this month, and the solutions are supposed to eliminate $700 million budget gap from LA. And so there's going to be different things done. Some stuff is like entire elimination of non-core operations by departments, and then also renegotiation of labor agreements, and then massive furloughs and layoffs. And the second thing is that Krikorian mentioned, Councilman Krikorian mentioned that LA can't expect a bailout from the federal government, and that we're basically on our own with this. And then also, the city has failed to implement the planned furloughs of 26 days for each of the 15,000 civilian employees because of objections from labor unions. That was expected to save $140 million. And then also the city will spend about $100 million on the separation incentive program. And according to the CAO, it'll only save $2.6 million this year. And savings for next year with this are still to be determined. And then the city also diverted $40 million from the police department's budget to offset the furloughs. And the failure to implement the furloughs is going to result in over expenditures of around $70 million. And so the budget advocates are calling for more transparency into the separation incentive program. And then, so for next year's budget deficit, 2021 to 2022, there's expected to be sizable budget gap. It's most likely in excess of $500 million. And so that shortfall is a function of the labor agreements with the police and firefighters that were approved by the mayor and the city council. And then also because of lower than expected revenues because of COVID-19. And then higher pension contributions of $127 million. And then also costs associated with major construction projects. These are four. It's the Civic Center, Convention Center, and the LA River Revitalization. Well, 3, sorry. And then also because of new labor agreements with the city's other unions. And so that's about it. And then there's also, in terms of the budget advocates themselves, there's been some members that left to kind of form their own called the budget tribunes. And so there are some openings now for Region 1, which is Northeast Valley, Region 7, which is East, Region 9, which is South LA, Region 12, which is the Harbor area. So if you know anyone interested in that in those regions, let them know. And then there's also a new Vice Chair of Development. It's going to be Jay Hamdall. And I believe he's replacing John DeGregorio, who was one of the people that left. And so that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Janie, you have your hand up.
Just a quick question. What are the budget tribunes you said, the group that split off? Can you quickly tell us?
Sure. So it's kind of similar to the budget advocates, but they just want to focus on different issues than what they feel the budget advocates are focusing on. Specifically, particular members of the budget advocates, because there's been some tension between different members inside. So some of the people there just decided to split off and make their own group. And so I spoke to one of them about it, but I still want to get more information about it before telling you guys, anything concrete.
Yeah, it's actually controversial and also not officially through the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment. So at this point, we would not be, for example, appointing a representative to it because it's not an it in the view of the city, even though some of the people are actually neighborhood council chairs or, presidents, leadership, but nonetheless, it's just not official. And there's some angry people. So.
Right. Yeah, that's an understatement.
I know.
Right. Yeah. 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 There was a lot of things happening within the budget advocates themselves, especially this year. So that's why this kind of happened. So yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Hugo. And you guys are meeting on Zoom also? Is that how it's working?
Yeah, Zoom. One Saturday of the month, one Monday of the month, different weeks, each one. And then there's also, sorry, I forgot to mention, there's different committees that people can join there. And at this point in time, you don't have to be a budget rep or budget advocate. If you want to join it, you can still contribute in some way, but just keep in mind that some of these committees, they kind of stay limited in their number, because if it's too many people, it just becomes too difficult for people to contribute towards the reports for the specific committees. So they tend to stay at around like 4, but they do always welcome more people to chime in. Even if you don't want to join it, you can also just chime in, or you can tell me or Nancy, and then I'll communicate with them.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Laura,
Yes. I saw you were waving your hand.
I was. I want to say, Hugo, that was an absolutely amazing report. Congratulations. You did a very good job. The fact that you are dealing with the muck and mire that is known as a budget advocate and learning about the ins and outs of what they have to put up with, I really, truly want to commend you. The only thing I do want to update is we did have a furlough. Much to my demise, I did not like it. But I want to say it happened on a Tuesday in November. The unions agreed to it, and the city did not work and the city did not get paid.
Right.
But Hugo, please keep what you're doing. I feel it. You've got a knack for this, and thank you for delivering such an amazing report.
Right, wait. There's a thing, reactions. Look, that's what you guys can do. Right, wait. Here, celebration.
Oh.
Right.
I don't get those.
Yeah, you do. At the bottom of your black screen, well, I think you would, because you have participants, chat, reactions. It's called reactions. You should have it.
Oh, my phone is very limited.
If you're on the phone, you may not have any of these.
No.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Jeff, I think you're back up because Nancy's not here. Committee reports, little Roman numeral I, Jefferson Park Community Safety Committee report and motion, and I can read it out loud, but you might wish to explain it. The committee has asked the governing board to write a letter to be approved by the executive committee via email, but that this letter would request to the LAPD Southwest Division leadership that it appoint, captain or whoever does it, appoint a permanent senior lead officer for Jefferson Park. So I'll throw, Jeff is raising his hand. I'm going to throw that into the chat. Jeff, go ahead.
Basically, the idea behind this is the more voices, the better. Southwest has been dealing with issues sometimes not necessarily under their control, but they are limited about appointing senior lead officers. A senior lead officer in Jefferson Park was taken and moved to another area because of those voices. So as your exiting deputy for Jefferson Park, I highly recommend that the board really take this action on, because more voices have meaning, and the area where that officer was moved had a lot of voices. There is no reason why in this day and age that a neighborhood does not have a senior lead officer. They should not be subjected to revolving officers vying for the senior lead officer role.
Okay.
So in that, I would say, UNC board, make your voice heard for a very large portion of your footprint and ask for your next permanent senior lead officer.
Okay, so the motion came from the Jefferson Park Committee, but since Nancy is not here, I actually need someone to be the mover and someone to be the seconder.
I'll move that.
Okay, so.
I second.
Okay, there we go. And now I see hands. Tori, then Lizzie. Tori, yeah.
Well, I was just gonna ask Jeff, Southwest, is it still closed? I mean, I've seen officers coming in and out when I'm driving by or what have you, but it's been closed for a while. They have all these transitions. Doesn't that have something to do with the delay of the slow?
No, it doesn't have a delay in the slow. What's happening at Southwest at their physical office, they're controlling COVID, obviously, and social distancing. So when you go to the Southwest Division office on MLK, you will see most likely either an officer or a cadet standing at the door. And they will open the door to see what your concern or issue is, and then let you in or out depending on the severity of the situation. So it's still open, but it's not open, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so Wait a
just
minute.
wanted to,
Oh, go ahead. I would say Lizzie had her hand up, but
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lizzie.
Jeff, would you please clarify for me what is in which capacity is Officer Whiteman? Is he temporarily our SLO or?
I believe it's Whitemore, Terry Whitemore, not Whiteman.
Oh, no, but
okay.
there's an Officer Whiteman, no?
Yeah, I think his name is Whitemore. He's a mid-size white guy, and I believe his name is Terry. Yeah, his name is Terry Whitemore.
Okay, all right.
But here's the gist. Since I met Terry Whitemore and he had been instituted as the replacement SLO for Jefferson Park, he is no longer the SLO for Jefferson Park. They brought in, Gabby, you have to back me up on her name, but they brought in another officer. And again, it's temporary. It's acting only. So
right.
Jefferson Park needs to get united and united with neighborhood councils to make their voice heard for a permanent senior lead officer.
right.
Yes, of course.
It was Officer Garcia, Jeff.
Thank you. Officer
And-
Garcia, who has been serving in capacity at USC. Thank you, Laura.
Right. Well, I just looked it up in our Zoom chat. And what she said is that they're going to do 3-month stints. So every 3 months, somebody different. And that's what led to this motion from the committee that it wasn't a comment about her because she was great. And it is a comment about her because she was great. But that it should be somebody more permanent than once every 3 months they start over. Paula, did you have something now to say?
No.
Okay. So this is kind of a simple, just we can write a letter, the executive committee can approve it via email, and Jeff's not getting away from this, I'm sorry. Because Jeff will have to tell us who we're writing it to in the end. So, but that would be what the motion is, that we compose a letter to the right person. And this one's rather simple, just that, please let us have a SLO that is assigned to that neighborhood more permanently. They're not rotating every 3 months.
I
In
move.
Jefferson Park, I have absolutely no problem giving you the sergeant
Right.
in charge of the SLOs and putting it in the chat. But guys, I cannot.
Okay.
stress-
Just either put it in that's okay. Put it in the chat. That's fine.
Put it in the chat.
Put
But
it in the
this
chat.
is
No
so-
problem.
this
I'll
is important. Make sure if you are in Jefferson Park, you weigh in and you make your voices heard. That's the only thing that's going to change getting you a permanent senior lead officer.
Well,
Trust me.
If we pass this, let me ask you this, Raheem and Gabby, is this the kind of thing we could also post such a letter on our website? Assuming we've approved a letter?
Sure, I don't see why not.
And I'd put it on Nextdoor and Facebook and all that stuff.
But first we have to pass the motion.
Correct.
So, Greg, are we up
I
for a vote?
I made the motion.
Well, I think I have it as John made it and Lizzie seconded.
Okay, great. Let's go.
Greg, you're muted. You're still muted.
Slow down.
There you are.
Slow down.
All right.
Okay, so Krishna,
Is he still there?
Yes.
He's
John,
Yep.
Carlos,
Oh, everybody unmute,
I'm
please.
here.
Carlos.
Yeah, I'm here. Yep.
Okay, Tori,
Yes.
Gabby,
Yes.
Paul,
Oh, he had to step across his house, so he's half here, but not here.
okay. Laura,
Yes.
Hugo,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Raheem,
Sure.
Isaac,
Yes.
Marielle,
Yes.
Hugh,
Yes.
Cordell,
Yes.
Greg, yes. Janie,
Yes.
Lizzie,
Yes.
that's 16. 16 and 6 absent.
Okay. Okay, last thing on the agenda, but it may not be short. Other committee reports. I know Raheem and Gabby have a report. I don't know if anyone else does. So let's start with communications.
Yeah, and I was actually going to ask if it'd be possible for future meetings, like if this committee update can be rotated every once in a while, so it's not the very last thing.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I thought about that this time, and then I realized, hey, this is supposed to be a short meeting. Ha! So next time, I promise, we'll do committee reports up.
And then if we could even get like the committee name or like the communications committee on the agenda, that'd be cool too. Because right now,
to
it
do
feels
that,
like
you need to tell. I mean, to be specific, if anybody who has any committee who has a very specific report that you want on the agenda, tell me the Friday before the meeting. So
well, I mean, I think we're an active enough committee where we'll have an update every meeting.
Okie doke. I'm writing that down.
Because right now it just feels like the version of the Gilligan's Island theme song where it's like, and the rest.
Okay, sorry.
I thought they were all standing committees.
Yes, but not always does everybody have something. You know, if I put all the committees on it, then they might feel obligated to make reports. And Raheem is right. If it's at the end of the meeting, we don't want to hear it. So we'll put the committees, we'll rotate it up to the top next month. Okay, promise.
But you
Sweet.
are gonna want to hear our updates.
Yeah.
Right, Raheem?
And
I'm just saying it's 10:05, and that's where people
have a
say they don't want to hear
Yes.
anybody.
So let's hear it.
Let's hear
This
it.
is the first time I've seen Isaac smile all night, so we're doing something right. So really quick update tonight. We're just going to talk about the board member news schedule. We resent it out earlier this week, and so if anybody didn't get that email, please let me know, because it means that we have your email address wrong on our roster. We need to fix it. Speaking of which, I just emailed Paul and Krishna to confirm your email addresses so that we can get you guys onto that list also and have your email forward set up. But yeah, so I mean, we're kind of continuing. We're getting back on track for our board member news updates that we're trying to do on a weekly basis. Big shout out to Hugh, who took it upon himself to write a really great article that we got on the website and posted on Facebook. You know, it wasn't even his turn on the schedule. He just kind of like out of nowhere sent us a really great article about some new trees on Venice and how it connects back to Measure M. Just really.
I thought I was due.
Oh, well, hey, you weren't, but you know, all good. We'll take it. But I think it's a really great example of what this can be. But also I think Gabby and I were talking, and we also want to make sure that that everybody knows that this board member update that we're doing, like it can be whatever any particular board member wants it to be. It doesn't have to be like a 500-word article. It can be like a photo series. It can be an interview with somebody. If you have absolutely nothing, you can connect with Gabby and I, and we can interview you, and that can be the story for the week. We just want to get in the cadence of like getting content up on the website and shared to Facebook. So to that effect,
I just posted it, Raheem, on the screen. If everyone can see
thank
that.
you. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, so to that effect, so that column, we changed, initially we had like a first draft due date and then the published date. We changed that first draft due date to what we're calling now an idea due date. So the idea there is that that's the date that you will connect with Gabby and myself so that we can kind of talk about what your idea is. Yeah, so this
Or
is the
just
one that
posted an updated one right now.
yeah,
Okay.
so this one actually already has Krishna and Paul on it. So
Well, there
welcome
you
to the
go.
board, you guys. So yeah, so again, that first column date is just the idea that Gabby and I will aim to connect with you to talk about what your idea is, just in case you're totally lost, need some help, need guidance, or need any sort of help. That'll be the date that we'll start to flesh out your idea. And then a week later, whatever that idea is, will get published on our website and then to Facebook and everywhere else. So this is kind of like our third restart of this because it's really hard to maintain, especially if Gabby and I are having to like track people down and things get thrown off schedule. But maybe third time's a charm. John, thank you very much. John already emailed us tonight to let us know that he's working on his story. I think he maybe heard our footsteps and wanted to get ahead of that, whatever it was. Thank you very much, John. But just as a heads up, so rounding out the year, we have Cordell, Greg, Nancy, and Marielle. You guys are the next few in line. So if you want to start thinking about your ideas, again, if you're stuck and even need help at this point trying to figure something out, shoot Gabby and I an email. We can definitely help you figure something out. Yeah, anything else, Gabby?
I just wanted to follow that up with website updates. We are going to be looking at setting up weekly meetings with our web developers. We know that it is a priority of our board members to get that addressed, and so we're going to make an effort to get the ball rolling on those updates. And again, if you have any ideas or concerns for updating our webpage, please let us know. Go ahead and email Raheem and I, and we will definitely try our best in the coming weeks to get that done.
Okay. So the only thing I have to, well, two things. One is just if you guys have, any of you have other story ideas, you can jump in and shoot Raheem and Gabby an email saying, I also, what do you think about this? You don't have to only do the one on your schedule, but, right. And then two, the more technical, sorry. So for Raheem and Gabby, I have been communicated to from Dunn with sort of a deadline on, we need to bring the social media, digital, whatever heck it is, policy to the board in January. So we need to deal with that at the committee this month. So FYI. And but I'm wondering things like, so for example, the planning department now has a YouTube, it's not maybe new, a YouTube page where they're showing all of their training videos. And I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to create our own little intro and have a direct link to their YouTube with, that people can see this from our webpage, not send them to the planning department webpage where it's then hard to find it. So that wouldn't be my story. That would just be something we do. So if anybody has any other insights in any other departments, just let us all know.
Laura, can you email us that idea so we can follow up?
I can. I have to look at it.
Okay, that's fine. I have one other thing that I wanted to bring up, which is Raheem's UNNC variety show. And Raheem, I'm not sure where you stand with that, but we definitely need to get in touch. We sent out an email asking you if you had any, all of you, if you had any entertainers that you would like to recommend for this event. I believe we already have a singer and a perhaps someone playing an instrument, but just send us those people. We will try our best to make this happen and have a little bit of a outreach event during this weird time. Go ahead, Lizzie.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Raheem.
I was gonna say, and I think, this is an idea that's gonna happen. I'm passionate enough about it that it's gonna happen. It may not end up being a holiday variety show. It may end up being like a New Year's thing. May bleed over into early January. But Yeah, but thank you also. Yeah, thank you to Lizzie, because she is one of the people that did actually find somebody and has been kind of like on us to kind of follow up with her. So thank you very much, Lizzie, for that.
And may I share the name of the person?
Of course.
So the person who's going to, the artist who's gonna represent, I guess, Jefferson Park, her name is Sy Smith, S-Y Smith. So look her up on YouTube. She's a fantastic singer. So.
And so, and just if there's anybody who doesn't remember what this idea is, it's like, we want to do some sort of like virtual variety show. And in this variety show, there'll just be like a variety of things that we would see from people in our neighborhoods, whether it's somebody singing, a poet, somebody doing like little like 5-minute baking demonstration. Yeah. It's a bunch of different like fun little things that kind of represent and show off people in our neighborhoods doing fun things, and kind of put that all together into like a little show. So we're at the point now where we're just kind of like assembling all these different ideas and trying to put them into a cohesive thing.
Okay. So thank you. Is there anything else from Communications Committee? Lizzie, I don't know if your hand is up for them or if you have a committee report.
No, it was that, but
okay.
Raheem, so you were saying that maybe it might be pushed back to January?
Yeah, I mean, I just, and being like more, and being realistic about like my schedule and my time and the time before,
Okay.
You know,
because
I think
as soon as you have a timeline, I think I need to let her know, because you know she might have
and
some other
Lizzie,
engagements.
if you're at the point where you want to just like hand her over to me, if you want to just like connect us via email, that's fine too, and I can just kind of take it over from there, so you're not caught in the middle.
Awesome. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Lizzie. Right. Thank you very, very much.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I mean, I know the Communications Committee works very, very hard. Very hard. Tori, you have a report?
Yeah, I have a brief one. I was gonna tell Raheem why he make his Valentine variety show. Oh shoot! But anyway,
good idea.
With the what do you say?
Yeah.
Okay, a homelessness liaison report. I assisted one to get housed. On Thanksgiving morning, we fed approximately 80 people, and with a hot meal and dessert and water and sodas and the whole gamut, right down the street on Adams and Crenshaw. And the HHH report was discussed by Controller Ron Galperin yesterday, and Hugh attended that session, and he's gonna send me over the details of what's happening with that. And Paula, you attended too? Paula had her hand raised. Okay. And then one thing I know is I wrote an article in a magazine, and we addressed that about the 10,000 units that were intended to be built. There's only 228 at the last report we received from the city. So they're working on what they need to do to make that happen. And I'm sure we'll get more information when Mark comes in our direction. The count, actually the homeless count is coming up. It's January. And we definitely have to have a different methodology for making that happen. And they are already sending us different ways to do it, as opposed to the traditional ways we've done it over the past 8 to 10 years, however long I've been coordinating that. We still have a lot to do. So if Krishna and John care to do anything to help us, I'll let you know what, if you have any ideas or what have you, to help myself, Dorit, you, Paula, Hugo. We all help with that topic of homelessness. And AQMD donated a lot of bags for that event we were going to have in July that we pushed, that we had to change because of COVID. But we used some of those AQMD bags, which are nice empty bags to put their dinners in, and just handed them the dinners, and they signed up actually to let us know whether they needed a place to stay or desired to have a place to stay even, whether they wanted an apartment, a room, or housing or temporary housing. So I know how to help them, and I gathered their number and everything so we could see how we can make that happen. And yes, I have been the people's concerned and had a conversation with the director over there. And so we got to see how they can actually help. But right now, Hopix has been helping me the most. And they actually have been placing people in transitional housing the same day. And we actually took someone, well, I had somebody take them over for me to a couple of places. So we're actually trying to help move the people off the street, especially in the winter. And the winter housing, shelters are open, and you got the list from Dorit on that. And that's the end of my report, unless Paula had a question. Paula, did you have a question? Okay. Okay.
Okay.
She's muted. She's saying.
I wanted to say I also attended that Galperin meeting.
Right, that's what I thought you were saying. Yeah, so if you and Hugh can send me a brief email on that, on the hot topics that you think were important regarding homelessness, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I thought I had seen something in Nextdoor or somewhere that PATH is looking for volunteers over to do some activities here as well. So Tori, if I find that, I'll send that off to you, because I'm not now seeing it in my email.
Okay.
But because I'm sort of wondering if anyone can do anything physical, but PATH is asking for volunteers for some handing out food and things like that. So anyway, Krishna has his hand up.
Yeah, I had a question. I was wondering about restroom facilities, because people are,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, we know. Well, that would be a project we probably could do with UNNC to place one within our footprint. That would be wonderful. With the, I've seen them. I saw one on Slauson and Western with the restroom and the sink, and another facility was right there, but they were right there together. And I said, oh, it's about time. You know, so that could be a project that we look into to see if we can place a couple in our parameters.
And what about like,
I can't hear him.
what about like for people to take?
It's going in and out, Krishna.
Yeah.
Say, what about for people taking showers?
Oh, we did that last year, but I guess that's something we can look into doing too when it gets warmer. Because right now they can shower with the winter shelters, and they can shower at the rotational showers, like right now ones at Trinity on Friday. So they are rotating, and I just refer them to wherever they are. And before COVID, we had more places, but right now we have to rely on the winter shelters and the ones that exist currently. But that is something we can look forward to do maybe mid next year, after winter shelters close.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I found the thing with PATH, and I'm going to post it in the chat.
Thank you, Laura.
So, okay. Are there any other committee reports, comments, questions? We're losing quorum, by the way. People are leaving.
Oh, we need to take our picture.
I did do a snap early, back at 7 o'clock.
Oh.
Good.
With everybody in their holiday gear.
Good, because
for Raheem.
My sweater was getting hot. I took it off.
No. but I'm saying I will send Raheem the photo. Let's do something.
Yeah.
So you took a picture without telling us to.
I know.
great. Yeah, that you look great.
No, we needed to pose.
Well, I'm just saying that then people were going to turn off their videos. This is when you were all showing off your holiday finery.
Laura.
I don't know how to post a photo in Zoom. Sorry. I do know how. That's stupid. Of course I know how to do this. Hang on.
Laura,
Yeah.
You know, you should have told us you were about to take a picture. Everybody would have participated.
Everybody did participate. Let me see what I did. So, because I have to figure out where I did it. Okay, now you see, Tori, you've managed to be mad at me 3 times tonight. I'm just saying.
I never signed a release.
Exactly. And I'm not mad at you. I just like to state what's actually occurring so it bring it to your attention about ethical dilemmas.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I did definitely take a snap, but now it's like, what did I do with it? Because I would just share it if only I knew what I had done with it. Oh, well.
Can I finish this up and then we can do a group shot?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, here I go. Muting myself. There we go. Unnc. And if I don't name you, I apologize because there are 23 of you. But Laura, Tori, Cordell, Greg, Hugo, Hugh, Isaac,
John,
Raheem, Gabby, Lizzie, you guys make me very proud. And you make me very proud in such a way that I know that I can step away from Unnc in every capacity that I've had. You guys have the power. You have the strength. Congratulations to both Paul and Krishna. You have power to make a difference. To Paul and Krishna, I was denied from UNC a couple of times, and it was for a committee or it was for this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I never imagined that I would be president for 8 years. I never imagined that I would be hanging on for 10 years, and I never imagined that I'd be hanging on for 12 years. You guys have everything that it takes to make a difference. You are leaders. And as a team, working together, you will create things that even I did not envision. So take this power in this day and age and know that you can use that to your advantage. And with that, let's take a picture for UNC because I'm only going to keep my video on for so much longer, Laura.
All right, that's fine. If everybody wants to be back up, and I don't know, I suppose, I think I'm not turning my lights back on. Did everybody see that I have lights on this sweater? But
yeah, they'll blind you.
Look, we have lights, but it ruins the shot. So, okay. So, taking off my glasses, putting on my hat.
Ooh, Laura!
But
Who's that?
I see anything, I know. But you know what? I don't wear glasses. These are reading glasses. I only wear them to do what we're doing. So now I can't read. But when you say taking a photo, who's doing that? Who's doing? Are we doing what we did before?
I can take it. I can take it.
Where are you, Raheem?
And that is because he's not
I'm behind the camera.
Yeah. Oh, you're doing it with the camera. Okay.
I'm behind the camera.
Raheem,
All righty.
how do we do that? How do we do it too?
Okay.
I'll send you my picture. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. Got it. Thank you, guys.
Okay. How you do that screenshot thing right there? Let's see.
It depends on what kind of computer you're on. On a Mac, there's a certain command. On a PC, there's a different command.
I'm on PC.
Print screen. Function print screen.
Yeah, print screen on a PC.
You can do
I did that. Okay,
Function
I
print
did that
screen.
part.
Then paste it to a Word document.
Yeah, I did that. It didn't look like it did anything, but okay.
Well, do it again. Do it again. Okay, so are we good to go?
Yes.
Good night.
You all went all out.
Happy
Oh,
holidays.
everybody,
Buffalo
if you want,
Bills,
if you want some of
Merry
the
Kwanzaa,
happy holidays. Okay,
happy
never mind. I was gonna say
Hanukkah.
save the chat for the information.
Oh my God, Hugo looks just like this guy in this movie I saw. He was a musician and they never discovered him until he was long gone. But he was fantastic.
That doesn't
I was
sound
trying to
right.
look like Santa Claus.
No, but he was fantastic. Oh my God, I'm gonna find that movie.
Unnc, and everybody watch Die Hard. It's a Christmas movie.
Oh,
Love it.
Right.
So that is done.
I want
Thank you
Channel.
guys. You're wonderful.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Take
Happy
care.
holidays,
Mariah
everybody.
Carey's
Holidays,
Christmas
Merry
special.
Love
New
you.
Year's, everything.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Finding Rodriguez. That was it.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
turning off the meeting. Bye, you guys.
Bye.